Disclaimer, we'd like to note before the start of this interview that the opinions about to be expressed by the guest on tonight's Gettin Salty Experience podcast are that of the guest and do not directly or necessarily reflect the views of the host of the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
You're listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Hello! That's right, baby. Hello. Who we saying hello to? We got a bunch of people in there, bro. We got Rob Procaccini, Gabe. Gabe's coming out to Indy to meet me. I talked to him today.
Oh, really?
Who paid last time? Gabe, or did we pay last time, bro? I don't know. Maybe I'll hit him up for dinner. We paid? That's all right. Him and his brother. I got Sammy, my girl Sammy, in there. Welcome back to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast. It's the only one that brings Firehouse Kitchen Table. Yep, right to you. I'm just going to say one thing. Meet the Mets. I'm going to sing one. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets.
When is that
big
start?
Today, baby. Big day. 11-7 win. We hammered the ball
they
all
won
over
today.
the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Big.
They always win all
That's
day,
the best
though,
pitcher in
don't they?
baseball.
What's that?
Okay.
We had the best pitcher in baseball out in the first inning, bro. Hammered him.
Don't they always win the first game and then go right in the
I don't know
toilet?
about that. Nah, who knows? I don't
Mikey,
know.
check that out.
I'm taking one game at a time, brother. That's it.
Yeah.
We got
the
Mikey
Knicks coming up
filling in
anyway.
with a suit. Oh, you took your jacket off. What happened? A little warm up there in the
It's
attic?
a little warm up there. So that's, we're just going with the...
It's a little warm up here.
Yeah.
It's got
So you went with
sweat going on.
You had pants on, or you going?
I do, yes.
You're free balling.
Yeah,
Are they-
no,
are they like
this is
sweatpants?
more casual wear, out
You
to
actually
lunch.
have jeans, or do you have like dress?
No,
pants?
I have suit pants.
Come on.
That's a senior man move to leave your pants off so you don't wrinkle them. You know that.
Yeah, but that's amazing.
And you
He's
keep
wearing
the
whole-
boys out. You get the boys.
He's wearing the
out a
whole
little
suit
bit.
pants and everything, bro. Look at him. Professional. From start to finish, he is. Right, Roof?
Right.
It does a nice job.
How's the
why we
club
love him.
swinging? You playing golf? What are you
I
doing?
did. I played the other day. I played on
How'd you
Wednesday.
do?
I shot 80.
80. Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
first day out with the new clubs.
Oh, new clubs.
Yeah,
What'd you do with the old ones?
I got them. You want to? You want them?
Maybe I'll buy them off you.
Buy
How much
'em.
does a new set of clubs go for these days? Hold on a minute. Let me hold my heart. Go ahead.
1,800.
Oh shit!
Jeez.
1,800.
Ming,
My
forget
goodness.
about it, Tootie.
When you go in there, does the guy give you a reach around too for 1,800? What is going on there, bro? Is that like a more
No, that's
expensive,
not.
middle of the
No,
road?
no. That's like probably middle to upper. The upper ones, like if you get blades and stuff like that, then they're probably like 2,500.
What's blades? What is that?
So you
That's a
get-
brand?
No. Like blades are just like what we used to hit when we first started. It's just metal, like it's just a blade. It looks like a hockey stick looking down.
Mm-hmm.
Then they make like a perimeter weighted for like for the amateur guys, so that if you hit it if you don't hit it exactly in the center, like if you hit it off the toe or the heel, it'll give you a little bit of forgiveness.
Man,
So yeah, that's the kind of the middle of the road, and then they got really like game improvement irons, and they got so many different stuff now.
and the bag, use your old bag. You get a new bag too. I mean,
I got a new bag.
of course
That's
you got
not
to get it.
included in that.
That's not the 1,800.
Oh,
Holy
no.
Christ! What does the bag cost?
They're like $250.
Zero over $2,000 for a set of golf clubs.
You know.
Great googly mooglies, Mike. You know what I'm saying? He did it right, my boy here.
Retirement must be nice. I mean,
Oh
listen.
my goodness, real
But
retirement.
then again, we're dealing with the former Wall Street guy. Once a Wall Street guy, always a Wall Street guy.
Yeah, he's the Wolf of Warwick. I call him, bro. He knows how to
I
do it, my
trade.
boy.
I trade every day, pretty much.
He's Dave Fox, cheaper than hunting.
He's not lying.
Yeah.
What do you got to buy in hunting? I mean, you got the bow. What?
The house, the property.
Well, good point. Yeah,
Have
all right.
flights going out there every time.
Yeah.
Driving.
Especially in Iowa. Yeah.
Now, did Gabe go into his pocket when he went out there? Or did he do the fucking gator arms? What did he do?
No, he did not do the gator arms.
No?
No, he's very generous.
He said he had a hell of a time.
With his time and with his checkbook.
All right. He said word, he's an animal.
Dude, we went. It was so funny because we wanted to go like do some fun stuff, but I'm like, I pulled out the lieutenant. I'm like, all right, hold on. The schedule is, we're going to work here until 12 and then we're going to have fun and drink.
Always work first, bro. Nothing's for free in this life,
Well, Gabe's coming out. He's going to hunt out there.
Nice. Good job. Proud of my boy. Good job, bro.
But first, before we get to the ads, we got to say a couple little prayers. We got our boy, the Cheese Man. He's going through some tough times. Bobby Chisano.
Yes. Health-wise.
52.
Yep.
So we got to say a little prayer for him. Also, Keith Nicolello reached out to me to mention Kevin Kelly passed away. I think he was 75 engine and then 40 truck. I think he fell from, I don't know what he fell from, but he hit his head and he ended up, I think, like 10 days later, passed away. I don't know all the specifics, but it was something like that. So Kevin Kelly,
you never know when your last day is, bro. So go out there and buy a $2,000 set of golf clubs and make the most of it.
Okay. Guys, and I did see it on one of the Facebook things. I think it was on Danny Potter's page and Craig McCary that you could tell when guys, they were just chiming in on Kelly, what a great guy he was, and he was an animal at jobs and all that stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace, brothers. All right, Mike, let's get to the commercials because we got Joey McHugh back there, man.
We do.
Very funny guy.
Certainly do. Quick shout out to Rich Thode, who just messaged me saying he's watching live, a friend of mine's and a friend of Chief McHugh's as well. So the first thing is a word from our friend out of Stanford, Mr. Dragonetti. When an elevator emergency happens, being prepared matters, and the people trapped inside are counting on you. At Dragon Rescue Management, we specialize in elevator emergency management training, built for fire departments, first responders, and safety teams who refuse to leave preparedness to chance. Our elevator industry experienced and seasoned fire service instructors bring decades of real-world elevator rescue knowledge, teaching cutting-edge proven rescue procedures and passenger release techniques that put safety first every time. And we don't just teach it, we equip you for it with professional patented-grade elevator rescue kits, polling tools, and unexpected movement kits designed for performance under pressure. DRM also provides custom elevator door training aids that allows you to practice the skill set from our training in the comfort and safety of your firehouse. Don't wait for the next stalled occupied elevator call to test your crew. Get trained, get equipped, and be ready. Set yourself up today at dragonrescue.com because readiness isn't optional.
Yeah. I think I got to get me one of those too, bro. Unexpected movement kits. You know what I mean? Because you never know when you're going to have that unexpected movement. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we know.
You know. All right, let's get my little buddy in there. Let's get him in here.
Yeah, Mr. Vince, with new music this time.
Oh, thank God. We don't want to get dinged again.
Yeah, tell me about it. When it comes to firehouses, the floors take a beating. Boots, waters, tools, apparatus traffic, it just never stops. That's why departments like the Gloucester City, New Jersey Fire Department and so many others trust Armor Tough flooring and tile. From the hallways to the training rooms to the apparatus bays, Armor Tough delivers a clean, professional finish built to handle the daily grind of the job. Durable, seamless, and designed specifically for high-demand public safety environments, this isn't just flooring, it's infrastructure you can count on. And it doesn't stop at the floor. Take a look at the Groves gear racks, built with integrated security features to protect turnout gear, personal equipment, and department assets. Secure storage, smart design, and built to last, because your gear deserves the same protection you provide to your community. If your department is ready to upgrade its space from the bay floor to the gear room, reach out to Armor Tough Flooring and Tile, built for the fire service, built to last.
Yeah, Vin's a great guy, man. You get that logo on your apparatus floor free. So call Vince. And don't forget also the membership, bro. We got a lot of new content up there. They just posted the seminar when I went out to do the Joey D Foundation. We had that 25th anniversary of the Father's Day Fire speech with me, John Gain, and John Berner. Get over there to the membership. Check it out. A whole bunch of good stuff on there. Now, let me get my sound effects ready, rough, because just my
ready?
man. No,
I'm ready.
I'm not. I got to get my sound effects. All right, now I'm ready, bro. Go ahead.
Coming to the stage, Battalion Chief Joe McHugh.
Hey. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Oh, anytime. We gotta. You see, I like the one where the girls throw the panties better, so I don't have
Yeah.
that one. I just got
Oh,
this
that'll
one.
happen later. Don't worry about that.
That's the only one.
What'd you say, Kevin?
I only got the one without the panties here.
Ah,
No good. All right. Welcome to the show, Big
Thank
Joe
you.
McHugh. Yep.
Thank you.
Wait. You know,
Before we get
our
started.
men and women, we gotta get patriotic. Our men and women over there,
Absolutely.
slugging it out with Charlie, knee deep in rice
Absolutely.
patties. You know what they're doing. Let's go.
Here you go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well said, former producer Pete. Well said. Excellent.
Amen.
Welcome to the show, Joe. That reminds me. I think we first met. How did we get you? Through who? Did we get
The Mike Dragonetti.
We did. So
Yeah.
you know him
Yes.
fairly well. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm
Absolutely.
Really sorry. All right, and I met you at the
At the Long Island show. Yep.
And we
Yep.
were chatting it up, bro. Like we
Yep.
were for years. We had that.
I mean, Lewis saying, I think me and him worked together in 233 176 one night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. How was he? Was he?
It was good.
there?
Shaking,
Yeah,
it was
shaking
good,
in
yeah.
my boots. I was shaking.
You
I was
know,
that one night. The chauffeur of the engine said, "He's like, Cap, if we're not first due," he goes, "Do not walk in front of the truck because the chauffeur will run you over."
Hey, lying. Hey, did you see
He was not lying either. No.
what I put on your comment when you put up a poster? Did you read that?
Yeah.
No, what'd you put? No.
Well.
Where is that? Staten Island?
Where is it?
Anyway, let's get back into the old days with Joe.
Yep.
Like, give us a little background on the early.
Well, I like to start off
What?
in honor of Kevin Kelly.
Okay.
Tell my Kevin Kelly story, man.
Do it.
So, 37 and 40 was in our battalion. So, I'm new, maybe 4 or 5 months on the job. I get detailed up to one of the companies, 37, I don't remember which one. And the guy, before I go up, this guy, Rich, is like, "Hey, man," he's like, "There's a guy up there. You're a big dude. I guarantee he's gonna mess with you." So I'm like, all right. So I go up there, sure as shit. There's Kevin Kelly. He's not on duty, but he's riding his bicycle around the firehouses in Harlem with some like mask on, enjoying himself at every firehouse. But he comes in, he's like, who's this big fuck here? Who are you? So he jumps on the couch, off of their couch, leaps like this, and I catch him over my head. I couldn't do it today. I throw him back on the couch, and he gets up, gives me a huge kiss. He goes, "I love you, man." And that was it. We're best friends for that ever since.
First night.
Ask me to do that today. I don't think I could catch a cat and do that. So that was like Kevin Kelly's story, and he was a beast. It's sad to hear him go. Rest in peace, Kevin. You're a good dude, man.
How tall are you, Joe?
6'5".
6'5".
Yeah.
Actually,
If I was 9'7", that'd be the proper weight.
A couple of guys used that term, like I said on Facebook about him, like he was just a beast, a monster. You know what I mean?
Yes, he was, man. He was. We caught a fire together. He was detailed to 25, and the guy did not stop working. I was trying to, Kevin, you're in detail. Yeah.
That's great.
Wow.
Good, really good dude. Really good dude.
They're a fireman, and then they're a fireman, bro.
Yeah, he was. He was that guy, man.
Yeah.
All
right, so now let's get back to a young Joe when he was, maybe not, 6'5", maybe he was a little shorter. Where'd you grow up? Give us.
I grew up right here in Greenwich, where I came back to, Greenwich, Connecticut. So I have my father was a fireman here in Greenwich, where I work now. My mother, worked various jobs, support us. I have 2 sisters, Patty and Kathy, hopefully listening out. So growing up, my parents worked as whatever they could do to give us the best that we could have. And my father, working locally, it was, we would always come bring him meals, or my mom would go see him or whatever. That kind of sparked my interest in the fire department, going to see him at the firehouse. You know what I mean? And walking around the fire trucks, checking them out, like like a 10 or 11-year-old kid would, and that's really what got it going for me.
Was he stayed a fireman his whole career, or did he?
Yeah. And here where I am now, there was no promotions back then. You know what I mean?
No.
So no, it was just basically the fire department back then. We'll get into it later, but back when he worked, there was 2 engines in each house, and
Right.
one guy drove one engine, the other guy drove the other engine, or one of the guys drove an ambulance, and that was it. So it was just 2 guys in the station, and then they toned out the volunteers, and the volunteers went to the
2
call.
guys in a station.
Yeah.
In Greenwich, the cash.
In Greenwich.
I was gonna say, isn't Greenwich a little hoity-toity up there?
Yeah, it's got they have their money here. Yeah,
Did you see him drinking his tea before? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. This is my polo jacket.
I thought I heard him say the rain in Spain.
Oh my God! Yeah. My father just did. He was just a fireman, just to have a hobby.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
So that's what gets you started, right?
That's really what got me started. Yeah, I loved just going to the firehouse. It was like me going to, going to see, on Christmas Day. Every day I went there. I just loved it. And then, we used to drive through the Bronx, and I used to see all the buildings in the Bronx. I mean, that's where I want to work. New York City. And back then, New York. This is the '70s. New York was burning. There's always fires on the news. And
I was gonna say, what buildings did you see?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Not many left. It looked like
exactly
World War Z over there.
Yeah. So when I went to Greenwich High School, I graduated in 1985, and then I attended the University of New Haven, where I took up. Back then, it was called arson investigation. But I loved college so much that I stayed there for 5.5 years. You know what I mean?
Really loved it.
I really loved it. I wanted to get as much out of it. But I met some really good people up there. My friend Phil, Simone, Jim Pulio, Dave LeBlanc. I don't know. Do you guys know Dave LeBlanc?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's on some of the national stuff. Yeah, it was just we had a lot of fun up there. You know what I mean? So I actually joined a fraternity. So
you did.
Yeah.
Any good drinking stories?
I'll tell you, that might be another episode.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it.
In college, a couple of them. Yep. So it was a lot of fun, though. I had a lot of fun. But yeah, 5.5 years.
What were you working at? What were you doing for work?
Back then, I actually worked for my fire marshal right now down the hall. I was doing like landscaping and driving a dump truck. Now I'm his boss. It's funny, Mark Dawson.
Laughing like a suckle. See that?
Yeah, it's crazy. But then when I was like here, like now, you can't do it here now. But back then, you could join the volunteers at 16. You could start going into interior firefighting. Now so many state mandates.
Where were you
like
in Volley though? Yeah, because it says
here in Greenwich, in Sound Beach.
In Greenwich has its own Volley and paid.
Yes, it's a combination department. Yeah.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
How big is the paid part?
Right now we have about 106 career guys. So now we staff it with a lieutenant and 2 firefighters on 6 engines, a lieutenant and 2 firefighters on a truck. Then we have a deputy with a driver. So it's come a long way. It really has come a long way.
Now you're the deputy, or you're the.
No, I'm the chief of department. I'm the head honcho.
Oh,
I wear the 5 bugles, my friend. Oh yeah. Yeah. I was a little disappointed you didn't salute me when I first came on, but
we'll make up for it. Wow.
No, it's good, man. There's a lot of good people, a lot of good young people here, man. It's it is. They're fun to work with.
All right. So what year did you take the test?
Well, I would like to talk some of my volunteer fire stories.
Give me some, bro.
No, I did. I joined the volunteers.
I'm kidding. I was on the.
No, I'm kidding. So I joined the volunteers. A lot of good people there that really mentored me. Like I like to mention, like Steve Gruno, Tommy White, Jimmy Morris, my fire marshal, Mark Dawson, my good friend who's here now, Keith, Paul Geppetta, Greg Montague, Chris Doyle. They were all big mentors to me. As a young fireman, joining the volunteers, thinking you know everything. Of course, I missed every big fire that was in Greenwich. It was up college or whatever. But then, like 1987, we took the test. We took the written.
Right.
Is that when you took it, Lou?
Yep.
Yeah, and then it got postponed. Like I took the agility the first day. Like my agility was the day after Memorial Day. So I was like, oh my God.
That's why a lot of people didn't end up, because the kid died or something.
And, there was a kid died a couple weeks later.
And he pushed it back. And then a lot of friends of mine never came back, like to take it.
Yeah.
They had moved on. It was a few years or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were a volley, did you ever get a chance to work with your dad when he was on the paid? Like,
No, my father. I joined in '84. My dad retired in '85. So we never.
How many years did he have?
He did 20 exactly. Like he did 20 to the day. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, he got a little disgruntled over. He didn't get whatever, so he left. So
all right, he did his 20.
yeah, he did his 20. He got his pension. Yep, and he had a good job after that. He worked like fire safety, protection stuff. For a bunch of years. So yeah, he was good. He was good. It was like I said, it was fun. Like, and that got me into it. And then getting into the volunteers, and it was a lot of fun.
You got a little taste for it. You got a little.
Yeah, absolutely. But I always wanted to New York City. That was it, man. You
had your sights set on New York City.
That was it, man. I could have worked. You could have offered me a job anywhere else. I would have said no.
Did you have to move into the city?
I actually did. I did move. Yep, I did.
Where'd you go?
Port Chester, where I live now, the next town over.
Oh.
So I joke. I pay like before I put the addition on my house. My father had 2 houses in Greenwich, and he paid less taxes for his 2 houses in Greenwich. I paid for my 1 house in Port Chester in Westchester County.
Wow.
So yeah, I've lived in Port Chester. Like if we ever go to a civil war in New York, Connecticut, I'm fighting for New York. So, yeah. I've been in New York for 35 years. Like seriously, 35 years. Yeah. Yep.
Wow. That's a little highfalutin area too, right, Rob?
Not Port Chester so much. Like Rye, Brook are.
I'll tell you right now, I bet you my taxes, which are pretty high, and your taxes are probably his taxes.
Yeah, right.
Me?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm paying a sick
crazy.
number.
But no, I moved here when I got hired. And then it was great. And then I went to the academy. Back then, it was
when did you get hired?
91, September 91. Lived Valley, Billy Ryan, Mike Myers, Vinny Pickford.
So your number had to be under, because I
was 1239.
Yeah, I was 1752.
Yeah, because after me, there wasn't another class, I think, till July, right?
I say all the time, man, I could have been on like 90, 91, 92, 93. There was only like 4 classes, and mine was 100.
Mine was like, you know what I want to do too? I want to find who the Chiefs were to split our classes up. Because there was 100 that went in August, and there was 100 that went with me in September. Like, what was I don't know what the reason ever was for that.
The one in 92, when it was in October, and I don't think there was any other one. So, like you said, you were 1,200. I was 1,700, and there was
and it took that. Yeah, look at the difference. Yeah, right. Right. Well, now they go. They didn't go through as many people back then. Like almost went one through like 1,200.
They just went to 13,000 on this last list.
Yeah, I can't believe
that's insane.
I think they only went to 4,000 on that list.
One of my guys here was like 10,000, and he got hired. He's in 4,500.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's why my son just told me his number the other day. It's like 2,800 or 2,700. I'm like, you might get hired, bro.
Yeah, right. He'll definitely get hired. Yeah.
Mike. Some guys are up in the 1,700s, and some guys are in the 100s. I'm just saying that. That's how that goes.
I'm assuming that was your list number, Kevin.
I don't want to say, some guys.
Could have happened.
But he did get on before me. I didn't get on the first time I took it because I was too busy doing some fuckery going on. And my old man's like, "Hey, Lewis is running. You better start running." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, Dad, I'll stop running."
Well, when I was getting hired, they failed me on my psychological. And this is my dream job. And I'm like, what the frig? So not to wait a month to retake the psychological.
And Coops got on with the psychological
on the first try.
Right? Believe that? There's something wrong with that, bro.
So I am panicking now. I'm like, oh my god, And then I go to headquarters, and then I meet this, the man or woman. He's like, oh yeah, Dr. Gruber gave you the test. He's an idiot. He fails everybody. I'm like, well, you're kind of messing my life now. Like my dream job. It wasn't. Then I have to go back to dancing. It wasn't making a lot of money there.
Chippendale's making a lot of money, bro.
Oh yeah, the Chippendale. If I could go back to my Chippendale days.
All right, so you're there with Mikey Myers, Chief Myers.
Yeah, Chief Myers. Yeah, me and him work together, man.
Rock and Benny Pickford,
Jimmy Lowe, Steve Carney, Craig Sweet, just Claude Hagan, just a lot of good dudes, man.
Yeah, that's a good class.
Jimmy Riley, just good guys, man. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Like we really did. And probate school was funny because obviously I wasn't, Carl Lewis in the run. You know what I mean? So, so I'm like running in the middle, and I'm doing okay. You know what I mean? And then, like the last day, you have to do your test run. All these guys are past me, like not coming like fourth to last. You know what I mean? Because all these guys were, and I was so mad at them, not because they were dogging it, because I didn't think of it to dog it like they did.
Right.
You know?
And listen,
So,
at least you're not last. You're fourth.
no, it wasn't
You're not
last. But there was a couple guys in my class that definitely would have beat. You know? But yeah, it was good, man. It was a good time.
So did you have a hook, or you didn't have a hook?
I did not. No. So
Luck of the draw.
we get our assignments, and was John Mike Moran from Rescue One. I forgot his first name. He unfortunately passed away in 9/11.
John Moran.
John, I thought it was John. Yes, I worked with the John Moran also, and then George Kirchner. Where they came up to, how'd you get the 25 truck? You know, like did you know something? Like, I didn't know anybody. They're like, watch out for the captain there. They go, he's nuts. So both them being Rescue One members. My captain was a fireman in Rescue One and an alumni, like with every Rescue One event. So lo and behold, my captain was. I'll tell you, and there's a lot of my stories going to talk about being a fireman. Man, the guy was he was hard on you. You know what I mean? But he really was like made me a better fireman. You know what I mean? And I think people today would have had a hard time with him, man. Yeah. He was tough, man. But you know what? Like, honestly, you would go up into a tenement, and he'd be like, was there a front fire escape? And I swear to God, it's an A or B question. You know what I mean? It's a yes or no
always
question.
pick wrong.
I always picked it wrong. Oh, I'm like, nope. You know, are we facing the front or the rear? I got it wrong every time. But you know what? Every time I walked in the building, even to this day, I look up. You know what I mean? At an incident or something like that. So you really installed that into me, and then you earned your wings with him. You know, and then that was, we had a couple instances with him. Like, so when I first got there, I would take the details. You know, I didn't know, like, I didn't understand that the group numbers and the detail thing. So guys are kind of playing with the new guys. You know, oh, the detail of 30 truck, 'cause we're in the 5th division. And all right, I'll go up to 30 truck. I just figured I had to do my time in the barrel. You know.
Right.
So I don't know, like 6 months into it, 7 months into it, he calls me up. He's like, he has a CD30, a transfer paper in front of him. He's like, you don't want to be in my company. Fill this out because you go probation. You're out of here. I'm like, you're always taking the details. So I answered it very neutrally, I didn't know, Cap. I said I was just helping out guys, to go. And he goes, that was a test to me to see how I answered it and not like sell them out. I said, well, Ray and these guys always make me take the details. So he goes, you kind of won me over with that, So it was, it was a test. Like and then he goes, I already spoke to the guys downstairs. Our young guys stay here. They learn their truck work here. You know what I mean? So, but he was really good, man. And he was like our first fire, like I had with him. It's in a high-rise MD. I mean, we go up this hallway, and I think we're second due. We're on the fire floor, and it is lights out. I mean, lights out, black. You can't see anything. And then he's like, Max, stay right here. Don't move. And I'm being the bigger than the average bear. Like, I'm kind of in the way here, Hey, Fatso, get out of the way. What are you doing in the middle of the hall? So I get my way into the apartment. I'm right next to him. I'm like, hey, Cap. Oh, good. You're sitting right next to me. Like, it was just one of those, like, but he really, 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 I couldn't ask for a better guy. Like, we had another fire one time. And this guy, Walter Brett, was a legendary battalion chief. God rest his soul. Great, great, great guy. So we're first floor of a brownstone. It was a good first due job. And so the fire's knocked down, and he's in the apartment. My captain's saying, hey Matt, hey Joe, take the bars. So I start hammering the bars. Chief Brett's out. I said, do not take the bars. Do not stop hitting the bars. So I'm like, stop. He's like, take the bars. I hit him again. He's yelling at me. I'm like, what do I do here? So finally, my captain grabs the hatch out of my hand. If I tell you that, and he's like, the chief's like, George, stop hitting the bars. Don't take the bars. It's just like little things like that. You know what I mean? But you know what?
Did you go there with any other probies?
Yeah, well, that was why I talked about splitting the class up. So there was 3 of the guys: Billy McMahon, Mike Bonner, and Matt O'Hanlon. Were in the August class. So I heard about that for 11 years. You know what I mean? Hey, Johnny, you know, because they had 1 month more than me, you know. So
It don't matter. It could be one day, bro.
it's all that matters, man. That's all that matters.
Could be one
you
day,
know?
bro. You
It
bop.
was I heard about
I
it.
don't care how tall you are.
Yep, exactly. It took like almost 5 years to get a Proby. So we finally got a Proby. So, but you know what? It was what it was. We had so many good guys there, man. Like, we just had a lot of fun. Like the senior men there were just like my buddy Tommy Healy, God rest his soul, was like one of my probably the funniest guy I ever met in my life. Like this guy took me under his wing. Very calm and relaxed. His pastimes were hot dogs. That's all he loved, hot dogs. You know what I mean? And he was just one of those guys. Like when the shit hit the fan, all these older guys, we all know them. They just calm as cucumbers. Tommy Palia, this guy Joe Piggott. So I had about, I don't know, like a year and a half on the job. So I was a real fireman by now. You know what I mean? And back then it was those big boots with the zippers on them.
Yeah.
Like now it's like I think they wear the Carhartt jackets. And I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying. And but back then when you had because you didn't wear bunker gear because I got on before bunker gear. And so you had those boots on that made you a fireman. So you had the roof, you wore those boots, you had the roof,
Chucky
whatever.
boots, the Chucky boots.
Yeah. So I was a fireman now, you know what I mean? So we go to a fire in the project. And
I was a fireman now.
so we go in the fire in the project, and I didn't bring my mask. It wasn't a big fire, but I didn't bring my mask. So this guy Joe Piggott, he didn't yell at you, but he was like, Joe, don't you ever walk into one of these fireproof buildings without a mask on. You know what I mean? And then, very calm, but he goes, do not ever walk into one of these buildings with a fireproof mask, without a mask on.
Right.
And you know what? He was 100% right. They didn't yell at you. They were calm. They were like, they didn't scream at you, but and then fast forward, not long after that, I get detailed up to 17 truck, on a day tour, and we're pulling out of quarters, and we had to end up having a third alarm compactor fire. You know what I mean? But we go into this elevator and take the elevator up to, I think it was the 22nd floor. Elevator opens up and nothing but black smoke pulls into the elevator. You can't, literally, you blink and you can't see a thing. But I had my mask on, put the mask on, got my way, got my bearings about me, got out of what I had to get out of. And, it was a compactor fire. So it wasn't like it's, blowing over your heads or something like that.
Yeah,
but
that's the worst shit. You
it's
can't
the
breathe
worst
that shit.
stuff. And I said to myself, and I remember, like, I have to say, man, Joe Piggott, like, I'm not saying I wouldn't have worn my mask at that, but that also cemented me always bringing a mask into it. Even in class 3, yeah.
That was a great tip from that guy, man.
Yeah. He was good, man. He's a guy. That guy, Joe, never put sheetrock on his walls in his house. He had his house had no sheetrock on it.
What was on the walls?
The inside of his kids' rooms had sheetrock. The guy was the most talented guy of his hand. He never had
those guys never. There was a guy in 117th, same thing, man. He would do incredible work for guys. You went to his house. It was like it still didn't have had the Tyvek on the outside, right? It was the same shit. He just never finished.
Like the bathroom, and like the wife had like the pictures. And I love the guy. God rest his soul too. They had the pictures on the studs with the nails, like their pictures from high school. It was, and you know what? The sheetrock was all in front of behind the couch. His couch is all the sheetrock behind it.
Exactly the same guy.
Oh, I loved him, man.
Exactly
He was such a funny dude, man.
So, what'd you say 25 truck was?
77th Street between
77th
Amsterdam and
on the
Broadway.
west side. So
Right by, not far from the Beacon.
So did you guys go up north a lot? Is that
we went up to 104th Street and then down to 63rd Street.
Okay.
I think Paulie Hosh talks about that.
Paul was there. Well, Paul started 74, then he went to 25. I obviously didn't work with him. And then there was another guy, Bruce Newberry. They both went to Rescue 1 together.
He talks about he talked about that place. Like there was a couple of really legit, and for him to say this was legit, it was legit grabs. like he talked about that place all the time. Yeah.
There was they had the one back in the day, Gene Dowling, right? The scaling ladder rescue.
Yeah, right.
That was like in the 60s, but that was like supposedly like legit, like 2 stories up on a scaling ladder, bringing like 3 or 4 people down. And you talk to those guys, and that's any of those guys. They talk like it was nothing. They don't even like bat an eye when they talk about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I remember Paul at a couple parties and stuff like that. He's a good dude, Paul. He really is.
What were they? Sticks or were they tower ladder?
Aerial ladder. Okay. Yeah. Nice. We're surrounded by 35 as a tower ladder and 22 as a tower ladder. So it was good.
You're there for how many years? You're there for?
I was there for 11 years. Yeah. So,
Wow.
you know what? It was one of those things where I decided I wanted to study. So around 98, I started studying, and I was like, I'm not going to go transfer somewhere for a year or two and say I got promoted out of this company. So I stayed there and got promoted. And 9/11 happened, and I was kind of, I'm just kind of glad I was there for 9/11.
I took
Right.
that test too. That was my lieutenant's test too.
Yeah, the '02 one, right?
Well, you guys are like
Yeah.
simpatico over there.
Yeah.
I got promoted lieutenant in June of 02.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we came on before the fast truck.
Right.
And
And EMS.
And EMS, yes, and EMS.
Pre-hood.
Pre-hood, yep, pre-hood.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Coobs was in the rotation.
yeah, I never. Did you do the rotation, Lou?
No.
No, he missed.
No, I didn't do it either. Did you? Where did you rotate, Kev?
16 truck.
Oh, nice. Good
Ladder
place.
6 and 116.
All right,
And I started in 210.
nice.
I
Yeah, I did a month up in 76 engine. That was my rotation.
I think I would have
All
liked
right.
to work in Manhattan too, like that, like for 6 months or something like that.
I'm telling you, man, Manhattan was great.
Crazy.
It really
Yeah,
was.
crazy stuff over there, man.
Yeah, there was some funky things, but I loved it there.
The only thing that sucked is like around the holidays, you'd go out for anything and it would take you like 2 hours to get back.
Yeah, downtown. Yeah, like down, like yes, absolutely. We weren't that bad in the West Side, but it was down when you got down like by Ford truck and that. It was just two truck, all that. It was terrible.
Yeah,
Coobs,
So-
I just watched the Miracle on Ice, or not Miracle, the new one they just did on Netflix.
yeah.
And 16 truck, when they won, they had the on like a sheet. The score for the Russian consulate was across the street, right?
Yes.
Was that
Yeah.
So they put the score, in case you guys didn't know.
That's
Great.
great.
Yeah, it was so great.
Dude, they used to have FBI guys up because that
That's
firehouse
great.
had like 6 floors, 7, something like that.
Yeah, that
FBI guys would be up on the 5th floor with binoculars looking
Yep.
all day at the Russian consulate.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
yeah, that was a very nice firehouse. A very nice firehouse.
Yeah.
But no, when I got to 25 was basically brownstones, tenements, and high-rise MDs. Really, that was the most what we had. That was a predominant what our we had some of those apartment houses, like those 8 or 9 story buildings with the one interior stairway.
Did you have the Dakota over there? Were you for
Dakota was there. Yep.
That's a crazy place. Like nobody gets in there, man. Like did you
No.
ever in there?
No, and you go to fires in these apartments are so big, like you almost walk right up to the fire room. Like there's like because the ceilings are so high, and
Right.
we had a couple of those. It's out the window. You're like, oh shit! And then you walk up to the like the bedroom, or whatever. You're not getting really taking a feed to like a room or two away. It's crazy. And some of these apartments are massive.
The
They're
ones off
massive.
Central Park, I went to one to do. I forget what we went there for. Had these giant stairs. The 2 stairs that come up, and there's a giant window out looking on Central Park.
How do you walk in there with your boots and shit?
They had a bird cage in there that's the size of my living room.
Right.
With all the exotic birds in it. I'm like, this is money here, bro.
I never heard
It
that.
was.
That's sick money over there, man.
Yeah, well, the CPW is the same thing, like Fifth Avenue there, and we went to what's his name, Dustin Hoffman's apartment.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we had a class 3 there, and like there's this 3 Emmys or whatever, Oscars, whatever they are. I don't know what they are. Actually, pretty heavy. I took. No kidding. No, it was actually pretty cool. Like like that's one thing being up there. You get to see some famous people. You know what I mean? And but it was But then also like when I was there when I first got there, I think the Upper West Side had like a predominant, like one of the most AIDS hotels, or you want to call them, like places in the city. 91, 92, AIDS was obviously a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we're over under the West Side Highway. It was a big homeless encampment there. So you were always going there. Like they would get in the fights and light each other's stuff on fire. And a couple of times, unfortunately, they'd be
that's crazy.
people in
from
there.
One extreme to the other.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and there was
far extreme. Like that's as far as you can get, right?
Yep. Riverside Drive, big apartments there. It was crazy. But it was it was a fun place to work. And we had a lot of fun there. So I tell everybody this one story that in front of the firehouse, a lot of people, people going from bars to bars on a Saturday night. So we got this rubber rat, and we have it where it was, put the fishing line under, and Saturday night was our night to put the garbage out. That's, so you put the rat behind the garbage lid. People would jump, oh my God, there's a rat. But my buddy Mario was like a MacGyver. So what he did was he cut it open. He bought a remote control car, cut it open, and put the rat in. So now we would chase the rat with people down the street. Like people would be running. I'm like, Mario, what are you doing? So it was good though. It was good. But and then we like my captain retired, and then we got this guy Mike Heffron, absolute gentleman. He was actually the first two boss of the Happy Lands fire and 45 engine. But he was a little different than my first captain, being like we used to joke. His last name was Heffron. We call it Heff would go to bat for you. You might not hit the ball, but he'll go to bat for you. You know what I mean? And he was a really, really good dude, man. He really was. So he was my second captain. It's just so here's a good story about him. I come in one day. And it's like Mrs. Ingalls, like with the metal garbage can. He's washing his turnout coat filled with water. I'm like, Cap, what are you? And it's a change of tours now. He's going home, obviously. You know what I mean? I'm like, Cap, what are you doing? He's like, oh, Mac. He's like, I'm washing the death out of my coat. I'm like, oh. He goes, we had a 1045 on Riverside Drive last night, and we had a fatal accident on the West Side Highway. He goes, I gotta wash the death out of this coat. And then I start thinking about the Happy Lands fire. I'm like, all right, well that could, you know what I mean? So
maybe it spooked him. Maybe he's got to wash.
Yeah, it could be, man. But it's too bad. We don't really see. I don't even know if we kind of lost touch with him, man. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, but yeah, a couple I got to tell this other detail story. There's kind of a funk. So I get detailed a 45 truck on a day tour. We get again before the fast truck, 3-2 rescue, vacant. So it's like this time. Well, it's not this time. It's a little bit colder. So maybe January, February. And back then with the open cab towel ladders, this 45 truck had like a canopy, I guess, to cover them from the rain and snow. But the canopy was pushed back. So this guy Billy Kirk's sitting across from me. He's standing up, and all of a sudden I see him like start falling over. The canopy lets go. He's got blood gushing down his head. He's about, back then, about ready to fall out of the towel ladder. I grab him. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the f-? We pull up. It's out the like 4 or 5 windows on the top floor. And the Lou's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got this. Like, he's like knocked out. He's out cold. You know what I mean? I just had to mention that story. Billy's a good dude, man. He's a really good dude. So
was he all right? Was he all right?
Yeah, he was no. Well, yeah, he went to the hospital, but yeah, he came back to work or stuff like that. Yeah.
All right.
So it was good though. And then obviously all that happened 9/11. 9/11, we lost 7 guys that day. So I don't talk a lot about 9/11. What I do try to talk about is the good things. We all could talk about it. Like what happened on 9/11 is our memories, and I don't need to talk to people about it. But I try and focus on the good things. We lost Glenn, Matt, Bobby, Joey, Paul, Kenny. All these people that it just it breaks your heart, but you know what, we met so many people, backtrack a couple months from the Father's Day fire. We had we went to the funerals for the guys from Rescue 4, and then we met a couple Boston fire, my buddy Jimmy Kenny and Bobby Gallagher. And they were like standing like lost puppy dogs. We ran out of beer on our bus, so we bring them on our bus. You know what I mean? And we just had the best of time with them that whole night. And the point of the story is, the night of 9/11, we're like kind of sitting in our firehouse, and we knew the fate of everybody. We knew what was going on, and and here comes 3 of the guys walking down into our firehouse from Boston. And that pretty much formed a friendship with me, and Huggy and Roger Kendrick and Sean, all these guys, man. It's just just really good people we became friends with, and and lifelong friends now. You know what I mean? So those are the things I kind of concentrate on 9/11. So but lose the 7 guys you lost, and we've lost other people since then. You know what I mean? It's just cancer and stuff like that. It's just
Right.
I had to talk about it, and a shout out to our bar, man, Blondies. What they did for us, Jill and all of them did for us, and Patty and Carolyn. They basically took care of us every night we went in there, man. I don't think we paid for a beer for a year. And they were finally like, hey, listen, it's December, September 12th, 2002. It's time to start paying for your beers now.
Yeah. Well, I heard this year for the 25th anniversary, all the beers are on McHugh this year.
Yeah.
No? Did I miss you?
Yeah, he is a chief of department. I mean, he's got.
I am the chief of department, man.
In Greenwich. Oh no, not in Greenwich.
Yeah,
he's got to be making good coin.
It's so funny though. The older you get, like the first 10, 12 years, you would basically, at 9/11 was just like the next day you're hurting, and now the older you get, I'm like, like our 10-year anniversary. My buddy Billy McMahon brought his brother was EOD for the SEALs. So all these SEALs came to us. And I can tell you this, I kicked their butts in the bar. I couldn't kick their butts anywhere else, but we go out drinking till 6:30 in the morning on the 10 of the 10-year anniversary. And they all couldn't keep up.
Lightweight.
And I mean, they were lightweights, but you walked into a bar and when these guys were in their uniforms, so the tridents on and stuff like that, the bar stopped. Every hot girl in the bar, was walking up to them. You know what I mean? It was like,
they know what they're doing. They know.
Every one of these guys, would have kicked my butt. But I always joke with a couple of them, like, on the in the bar, I kicked your butt. So.
That's
but
one
yeah,
thing, Murphy. He's right. Like,
what's that?
I said you're right about one thing. I just thought about it. Like after 9/11, so many people came through the firehouse that we met.
My God.
So many relationships were made, and
the
outpouring of love, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, it got to the point for us, like we had to kind of shut the fires down.
Oh, we had to too.
It was like, and then people are just doing the right thing, but it's like, we need to grieve too. Like
we had a kid who used to come in and sing. Like I'm talking about, if you took 10,000 singers randomly that walking down the street, this kid was 10,000. And we would have to sit and listen to him. Like every other day, he wrote another song about
oh my God,
the guys. And again, like what do you do? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they were coming every day.
But you were exactly right, man. At some point, you got to close the door and just be together with each other. Like it was hard to do, but you had to do it.
Yeah, you had to do it, man. We need to do it. Like we almost kind of said to people, like we need to, we need to grieve. Like we need to, and we listen. We had to deal with the 7 families, 6 families. You know what I mean? Because our Lieutenant Glenn Perry was UFO. You know what I mean? We had to deal with, like Bobby Menard's wife and Matt and all these other guys. Matt McBarnes was the guy that, remember, the top of that aerial took the 2 babies down from that area on the Upper West Side. Man, that was Matt. Matt was a great kid, man. Great dude, man. And he was supposed to work that day. He swapped into it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had a lot. We had 19 families. We lost 19.
Wow.
So we had 19 families to deal with.
Wow. Yeah.
We didn't find anybody right away. We had to go to the memorials first.
Then
we started finding them, and then we had to go back again. Like it was just never ending.
And then we lost one of our guys pretty early to 9/11. My buddy Stevie Johnson. So he passed away 2003 or 4. So that was like our first kind of our 8th person, if you will, that passed away.
Right.
So Stevie was great. Stevie was in 25 before I got there. He went out to 277. And then he went to 108, and then he came back to 25. So he was a good dude. Here's a good Stevie story. So it was after 9/11. It doesn't matter. After whatever, we had an unconscious firefighter mannequin in our firehouse for training. So we're doing a school visit, like 1st or 2nd grade kids coming to the school. So the mannequin's up on the 2nd floor. So they're like, "Oh, Stevie's like, I'm gonna go slide down the pole, kids. Come see me slide down the pole." So he's going up in his bunker gear. I'm like, "What is he doing?" He takes the mannequin and throws it down the pole hole, so it lands on his back. The kids start screaming. The parents are screaming like, "Oh my God!" And he's laughing, and we call them numbnuts. I'm like, "No, Stevie, what the fuck did you just do?"
Scarred the kids for life.
Yeah, well, basically the division commanders talking to the captain. They were hearing from a bunch of people, so it was that was just Stevie. No.
Kids were crying, having nightmares. It was horrible.
But we did. Like we had a lot of fun, and you know what? Also, like 9/11, it brought all of us guys together too, who survived. Like my buddy, like Sean O'Brien, Brian Ender, Elmo, Ray, Sean, Lieutenant Skeetos. We got 2 new officers in Billy Gold and Kevin Naughton. We got new guys like Brian McShane, all these other guys that came into the Mike Snow that came to the house afterwards, Pete and these guys. Imagine these guys, Pete, Mike, and Daryl come to our firehouse after we just lost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
7 people, but they did a great job, man. Billy Murphy, all these guys. So it was good. Kevin Farrell. It was a good bunch of guys. It really was,
So you go and get promoted.
Yep, I got promoted in December of 02. So I was in that.
Division.
I've heard a couple people's on the show talk about we were in that big class, 140 people, whatever it was, 45, whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
So I went, which is I had like 11 years on the job. I went to the field right away. So no any sort of training. I didn't have any lieutenant stuff, nothing, So my first tour was an 84 engine. So I'm sitting at the kitchen table, it's a day tour, and the guy's like, "Hey, you're up." I'm like, "Well, I'm not the detail, I'm the boss today." So it was a little, but here's a good story. My first decision as a boss ever in my life. So I'm working an 84 engine. So we go this one box. We're a 1014 engine. Ends up being food in the stove. So it's like 11 o'clock. We go to the store. We go back to the same box. Same thing. 1026. Third time we go back, the guy's like, same box. We're going for smoke on whatever floor. The guy's like, "Hey, Lou, we're almost done shopping. Can I keep, Kevin back to keep shopping?" That was my first decision. And you can imagine what my answer was. I said, "Absolutely." I'm not eating lunch. I'm not eating lunch at 3 o'clock. Absolutely, keep them back. Because we were riding with 6 back then. I said, "Absolutely, you can stay back." So that was my first kind of decision as a lieutenant. So it was like, listen,
command decision.
Yep, absolutely. It was good. It was 7th Division, had a lot of great companies. I bounced around a lot, saw a lot of good places. But when I got there, there was a lot of senior, covering lieutenants in good spots already. 51 truck, 38 truck. So like this guy Billy McGee, great dude. So when I first got promoted, went to 66 engine. And then for that month that I was, didn't go to flips. Then when I got to flips, I went to 38 engine UFO because I want to go in engine. I never really worked consistently in an engine, so I want to get some engine work, get some experience. So I did like 3 months there, and then I left. But but Billy McGee was there, and he was like, "Because you're not gonna put in for 51 truck." I'm like, "Billy, I've been lieutenant for 3 months. Like I can't. I'm not gonna bump you out of it, But that was a good place. That was a good house, man. I learned a lot. You know what I mean? And then I finally settled in. I was working. I forgot where I was working. The guy's like, "Hey, you should go talk to the captain of 41 truck." He worked in what was Jimmy Hurley worked at Tour of 51 truck, and that's I was at 30. He's go talk to Vinny Leahy over 41 truck. So I went over there and spoke to him, and then lo and behold, I went there UFO, and it was like one of the best things I ever did, man. A very underrated house in the Bronx. I would call 41 truck. You know what I mean? 90 or 41. Good bunch of guys. You ran it with very good companies, 47, 58, truck wise, 38, 32.
They run a lot, Joe?
Not really, like 3,500, 3,600. They're not like, crazy, but big response area. You know what I mean? So, but I really enjoyed it there.
Runs their ass off there, right?
Yeah, they do about now. Back then they're probably doing like 45, 4,800, and now they're probably doing like the high fives, if I were to guess. So it was a good place. The problem with that place was as a firefighter, your battalion was the 2-0 battalion, so you were getting detailed because back then City Island was low. 89 and 5th. So really, they very rarely got detailed out of the battalion. Very rarely.
Oh, so you were in with 61 then, with the squad then?
61, they would have been, that's what the 2-0 battalion is. That was our battalion. Really should have been the 18th if you look at the map. That's what the battalion we really should have been in. But unfortunately, no, not unfortunately, but we were in the 2-0. So
there's a lot of work going up there now, right?
There is a lot of work going on. I caught a couple good. I actually got I became a hero in 41 truck. I got a medal.
Give us a story, bro.
All right, you might want to put a hood on. Do you have a hood?
Wait a minute.
It might get a little scary.
I don't have a hood, man. All right, I'll brace myself. Go ahead.
There he is.
There it is. Look at that kid back when you can see his feet. I love it.
Man, you look like a baby.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. My wife looked out when she won the lottery, man.
She did. Lotto of life, bro.
She did. So Anyway, so yeah, it was actually the last tour before my daughter was born. So
Set
we
the
get a
stage.
call.
Take it slow. Set the stage. Go
Yep.
ahead.
All right.
All right.
So I forgot what we had for dinner, so I can't set the stage that well. It might have been pork chop. No.
There I was.
No. So we get a phone like around 12:30 at night. We get a phone alarm. Fire on the third floor. Yeah, getting a couple calls. You know what I mean. So we're heading up there. We pull up and it's blowing up the side of the building. It's ripping up the side of the building. Get up there, get up to the third floor, make our way into the apartment, and the whole like living room blowing out the living room over our heads. And the woman's daughter's right there, and we're trying to pull her out, and her skin just coming off her arms and stuff like that. She was burned pretty bad. We got her out, and I believe she lived. So we get her out. We toss her. My irons guy, not my can guy, because he also got a medal, and somebody else got her out. I kept going. I went past the fire, under the fire, past to continue a search, and I heard a woman kind of faint screams, and I came to her bedroom. But the miracle was, and the reason why they were kind of disappointed I didn't get to Gordon Bennett was because I passed. Yeah, I didn't stop in the kitchen first to get to see. That's what they joked about, but no, seriously enough, I found the woman, and we pulled her out. Me and my irons guy pulled her out, and so lo and behold, I didn't really think about it, but the chief worked on, you got to write yourself up for this. So, and then Medal Day 2004, probably with the best panel of medalists ever in the FDNY. No, I'm kidding, that's a joke. But that was a nice day. I don't know if you ever got to Medal Day. It was a really nice day.
What'd you
know
get?
what I
What
mean?
medal did you get?
Yeah, I mean, it was you're with your family. My wife is there, my mother and father. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know if I could win a medal again in the Bronx because it puts you on your shoulder if you win a medal winner. So they might have to forklift driving around now.
What medal did you get?
I got the MJ Delahanty, and I don't know if you know this about medals, but there's a lot of cash prizes with the medals.
Uh-huh.
So I was sitting next to this guy Brian Fox at 44 Chopper Talk, and they give you your envelope.
I came on with Brian actually.
Yeah, good guy, man.
Yeah, good.
He's like, he goes, I had $1,000. I'm like, $1,000. I got $200 bonds. I mean, how does one seat get $600 more? So
That's the wrong medal, Joe.
Oh, it was good. It was a good day, man. It really was a good day. So
got a Wendy's gift certificate.
Yeah, well, that's worth $1,000.
So that was at 2004. So you got like
the Medal Day was 200004.
Yeah. So you got like another 90 years before you get your 100, right? That was
those
bonds go out like 100 years.
Yeah. Nah, it was good. It was fun, man. Yeah, it was. I just never really ever thought about Medal Day. You know what I mean? You always win. You know what I mean? If somebody in your house got a medal,
Yeah,
and,
that's a great day, man.
It is a good day, man.
Never thought you'd be on the guy.
And now I'm a hero. Like now I'm a certified hero.
He's signing off autographs and stuff. I know.
Yeah. I always tease them about. I always tease my friends about that. But
you ain't nothing but a sandwich, bro.
Yeah. Yep. So that we call a lot of work up there in 9041, man. And then you have the jobs where you go to Medal Day, you're on your high, and I got the spot before Medal Day. But I made the grab when I was still UFO in 41.
Wow.
So that's why it kind of says on the Medal Day book, Battalion 15, not Louder 41.
That sealed the deal right there. The captain's like, I got.
Yeah, I pretty much had the deal sealed. But I had one guy going for the spot who had 1,000,000 points more than me. The amazing Crespin, this guy was a lieutenant up in the Bronx, but he wasn't getting the spot anywhere. So Chief Visconti, God rest his soul too. So he was my hook. He's my hook to get 41. And he goes, Joe, here's my only thing. If you're not UFO there, I'm not doing anything for you. He goes, I don't bounce people out of spots. So I was like, no, Chief, I would never ask you to bounce him out of a spot. He goes, then you consider yourself getting the spot. You got the spot. But I didn't believe it. He saw it on the department order, so. But like I said, you're
guy, man.
Yeah, Visconti, you said?
Yes, sweetheart.
Great. What a gentleman. No, that's the thing too. Like in this third division, not to go backwards in my career, but the division moved in like 94, 95. Then we got guys like Chief Kilduff, gentleman, Chief Galvin, Chief Visconti, Chief McBride, all these guys were just like, deputy chiefs that were just great. And our battalion chiefs, Brett McNally, who ended up being the chief of operations, Incledon, Pellegrini, just all the LaForger. Like these guys like LaForger, these people jumping out of a window of a building. He's like, should I transmit a second alarm? Like, like it's just so laid back, it's like crazy, But
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know, but Luke Cole's killed Duff Ed.
Who does? Yeah,
They're tight. They're very tight.
he was a good. He is not what he's still. He is a
What a great guy.
gentleman, man.
He's
Really
such a
is.
nice
I will
guy.
say one thing. So I took a class. I forgot it was the not post naval graduate. Something with West Point, and he spoke off the cuff. There was no like cards. Like Commissioner Cassano spoke. He spoke very well, awesome. But he had Chief Kilduff just walked up to the podium, spoke, and I was like, "Holy moly!" Just a really, really good guy. And he would always say hi to us. He'd always walk in like he took a partial.
Very
Like
humble
they take
dude, man.
Very
Very
humble
humble
dude,
dude.
man.
Yes.
He would say to us, we'd be standing out in the front of him. He goes, "Why did it take 6 hours?" He goes, "I was having such a good time at the cookout." You know what I mean? You know, really good guy, really good guy. So, but yeah, we were talking that before, like going back to like, so 90, 41. Then you have the jobs where you're on cloud nine with Metal Day, and then you go to the job. But we had one job one night I was working for, and you pull up, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, fire on the first floor, and it was not good. Like you could hear the father screaming as we're running up to the building. He's got his skin peeling off his body from his, face down to his waist because he had pants on, and he's screaming, "My baby, my baby!" And we go. I make my way into the apartment. I'm trying to feel in the bed, and then the room lights up. It flashes over. It was. I just imagine like you have your hood on, and every part of my ear with a piece of vice grip on it. Like, you know what I mean? That's how much my ear was killing me. My right ear was killing me. And for some reason, the door shut behind me. So I was in there. I mean, it wasn't in there very long, maybe 15, 20 seconds, but enough to be in there. I'm like, what the frig? And drag you out there, man. And, I went to the burn center. I went to Jacoby. And obviously the girl passed away. My daughter's birthday was a couple days later, and it just kind of hit you, like, and I learned a lot from that fire, and the fact that obviously, I tried as hard as I could to save this little girl's life, man, and unfortunately you couldn't do it. And it's one of those things, like you go to the hospital and like I wish we could figure this out. Like I'm right next to the mother now. Like the mother is screaming at the top of her lungs. She knows. I mean, thankfully it was in Spanish, so I didn't understand it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I walked out of the hospital. I got that guy, Tough Timmy Gallagher, whatever his name is. I walked out. I said, I can't be here anymore, man. I just couldn't do it. And went to the medical office, got back to the medical office, and sat in my car and cried, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I cried. And I went right for the medical office of the counseling unit. I couldn't do it, and probably the best thing I ever did. It just really, really, really got to me, man. It was really, like you try and think you're this tough, rough person, and that one really, really hurt, man. Really hurt. And knowing that this father, like, and it all kind of came about, the little brother, maybe not the little brother, but she was younger than him. So the brother was like maybe 11 or 12, was lighting up like cardboard boxes under the bed, and it caught on fire, And we did the firehouse. We all bought them Christmas presents because their house is destroyed. We bought the family Christmas presents. It was a nice thing, but just one of those things that you'll never forget.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen guys, man. Like I remember this job I went to one time. That's a squad, and it was a fire blowing out of the attic, and they couldn't get to a little girl, and I see grown men in the street crying like I couldn't get to her. I couldn't get to her. I couldn't get unconsolable. Like
Kev, I couldn't not cry. I was in my car. I couldn't not. I was like, it was like insane.
right.
You know what I mean? It was like, and I think maybe the culmination. My daughter was 23 a couple days later, and I don't know. She was 5. And it wasn't like my first 1045. And I saw a couple other kids. It was just that one.
There's a few jobs that you have that bother you for whatever it is. Whether it's a girl that looks like your daughter, whether it's the same age, whatever it is, something. It was close to your daughter's birthday, like whatever it is. Like it just the holidays always seems like.
I think it had a lot to do with the holidays. Yep. Yeah, it was a tough one. That was a tough one, man. And you still think once in a while. I used to think a lot about whatever happened to the dad, like how are they coping and stuff like that. I mean, that was I don't know, like 06 maybe. So God, it's been 20 years now, probably.
I was just thinking. I just saw has nothing to do with the FDNY in New York, but in Minnesota, because I watch hockey. Reporter, a girl who works with the Minnesota Wild, was in a fire and lost. she died and her 3 kids.
Yeah.
And they were saying that she, I was like, where the heck's the husband? The husband, I guess he works nights or something. I don't know the whole story, but
Yeah.
could you, like, how many times I remember over the years, like where, a guy would lose his whole family. Like it's happened, like,
Yeah.
how do you even, where do you start? Like,
Where do you start?
do?
Exactly. Man. Exactly. So, no, but 41 was good. It was a different, going to, PDs, private dwellings, going to frames, going to tenements, going to H's, going to projects. So we had projects in 25 too, but with the regular projects, 20-story projects, or we had the low rise 6-story projects. We had some of those. We had 3-story projects there in 90 and 41 too. It was a very vast. It probably didn't have any brownstones really. You know what I mean? So other than that, it was pretty much a good response. We had a lot of good young fire. We got a lot of good young senior firefighters there too. Tommy Burke, Tess, like Paulie DeLeo now, who's actually the captain there now. Richie Offmer, who's a great guy. Louis Torres, Edwin, Jimmy, Selesky, Tooley, all good guys. And then we had Alex Lopez, who I can't not talk about. Alex was a dear, dear, dear friend of mine, and I was already out of 90 and 41. I was a captain, and Alex is just Alex, man. Like he would love the guy, and then one day he would be like, "What are you doing?" One of those kind of guys. And then one day just dropped dead of a heart attack, very young, very maybe early 40s, maybe 30. Very, it was awful, man, awful. That was another one that got me bad, So anyway, and that was a junior officer. All my Captain Vinny Leahy had 30 years. John Moran, God rest his soul, he had close to 30 years. Mike McMenamin, God rest his soul, he had close to, you know what I mean? So I was like the Johnny officer. Like I had 11, 12 years. I was the lieutenant there,
You had hydrants. And
yes, yeah, exactly. No. You know what I had? I have to say this now because Mike's passed away. I have the complaint that came at 9:00, 9:30 in the morning that I had to go do at 20 to 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, by the way, you got to do this complaint about 20 to 6. Yeah. I'm like, nice.
It came in from me, but I'm giving it to you.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? What was I going to say about it?
You're not going to say I'm going to go do it.
I'm going to go do it, man. That's exactly what I did. I didn't say a word. You got it, and I did your TPRs too. So it was good. It was good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I loved it there, man. So I took that captain's test. That was, guys wanted to kill people over, and I actually did very well on it. The guy next to me was smart.
Now, right?
What was that?
This is 07.
I think it was 07, yeah. I remember walking out and everybody was comparing their answer sheets. I'm like, oh my God, we have 18 different. I'm like, oh my Lord, this is not, and it was not an easy test, man. And it was so hard. Did you take that, Lou?
I did not take it after that, no.
So you took the first 85 questions were so hard. Then you got to the in-basket. The in-basket was so easy. You thought they were trying to trick you. Which made the in-basket hard, But I did well, luckily, and then I got promoted and headed up to the first division. So
first division.
You know what? Yeah, I just wanted to see something different. I knew it couldn't go to the 6th. You know what I mean? And I was going to study for chief, so we're going to come back to the Bronx. So I was like, you know what? I want to go up down to Manhattan and get some experience down there, down lower Manhattan. And it really was. Right. I'm telling you, man. You want to see some of the most messed up buildings in the whole city. It's down there. No it's down there, man. Like the OV down there is legit. Like it's not easy to get to the rear of the building. Not saying the OV is an easy job anywhere, but it is. Right. Some of these buildings are crazy. 6 Truck, all those companies over there. It is crazy.
Joe, you like triple subcellars?
Yeah, right.
He's out on any subcells.
Yep.
Where are some of the companies that you like down there when you were bouncing around?
I did a lot in 24 Truck. I like 24 Truck a lot. That was a good, place, man. Wow. What's that?
Right by the garden, right?
Yeah, it was great, man. But another one of those things where the guys coming in, my brother's coming in, and we're going on a run at 5. Again, a lesson learned. Going on a run at 5 after 5. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it in, go get dressed, and get back to the 5 or 7 because they went river to river in some. I'm like, I'm never doing this again because the box we were going on was on 31st Street, but the next block down. I'm like, oh, perfect. To loop back around 30th Street to back to 30 was 20 minutes, and then we get a run for 26th Street and First Avenue. I'm like, come on.
That's the only reason I think I could not work in Manhattan. If I lost a job because of traffic, I think I would lose my totally lose my mind.
So easy to do, man.
I don't think I could do it.
Like I worked up and down in 24 truck one day. This guy Sal Sarantino, what a great guy. He passed away, but what a good dude. So we had one of those day tours just like that, man. We were running around getting our runs, but now it's like we're trying to back in the fires at 1 o'clock. Lunch is on the table. Boo doo. All right, we're going out. Trying to back in again. Basically, it's 4:30 now, and the big bear doesn't have lunch in him yet.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So you know how I feel about that. So all of a sudden we get a
little hangry.
yeah. So we get a bullshit job before truck, and I go to Sal. I said, Sal, we're not going 10-8. I said, if I don't eat, I guess I'm gonna start chewing my fingers. You know what I mean? So we go back to the firehouse. As we're going back to the firehouse, 21 truck passes us going to because the box comes in for Macy's for class 3. So we go back to the firehouse, we wolf down our lunch, and then we go back in service. But the point of the story was one of the guys in 24 truck was driving 21. They took our box in for Macy's, and that was like the only run they had the whole day tour. And here I am, like, seeing double, because I haven't had breakfast, I haven't eaten since 11.
A week.
I'm like,
My blood sugar.
I can't even pick up the radio.
Everything's blurry.
Like if we had Uber Eats back then, I'd Uber Eats bring us a meal on the radio. Oh, it was great. But that was a good spot. 24 truck, 3 truck obviously was great. 5 truck was. I mean, listen, there wasn't many houses he didn't like down there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but then like as I'm bouncing around, Chief Daly calls me up. He's like, "What do you think about going to 10 truck?" And I only worked in 10 and 10 once before he asked me. I'm like, I said, I wasn't really thinking about 10 truck, but then also looking forward, there was really nobody retiring down there. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'll give it a try. He's like, Joe, you do me a favor, go there for 4 months, see how you like it. And then, we'll see what happens from there. I'm like, okay. So I go down there and there was good guys down there, man. There really was. It was a lot of fun. And the problem was like you're saying, you like you're saying before, Lou, somebody's coming to sing a song to you. There was just always people from the firehouse. At CAP, we got visitors. You go downstairs, and all of a sudden there'd be the band, the marching band from New Jersey.
They're from France, they're from here,
right. They're playing us songs. They're like,
and you guys were the epicenter, for God's sakes. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, the amount of T-shirts and stuff they sold.
Oh my God,
insane.
Crazy.
But it's not a lie. We did pay house tax. People think we didn't pay house tax down there.
Well, I was going to say, listen, the benefit is, if you make money,
we didn't pay for our dinner dance, but we did pay for our house.
That's the benefit.
I
mean, if you're going to put the work in dealing with the people,
absolutely,
you should get the benefit of the cash.
And,
obviously,
and 90% of the guys didn't mind. There was a couple guys, like one of the senior guys, did not like. He would shut the doors. We're like, Billy, you can't do that. Like, you got to kind of like, these people are like, then go in the back. You know what I mean? So, but it was a good experience. It was, it's obviously like a little mini Midtown, you know what I mean? And not a very big response area. If you look at Manhattan, as it comes down to a tip, that's basically, we ran with 15 truck to the east and 1 truck to the north, and that was it. You know what I mean? And Battery Park City. So there really wasn't a lot of response area.
After the, at nighttime, right? It would be dead down there, wouldn't it? Like after a certain
time?
It
got dead down there. Yep.
Yeah, like
not as much as it did years past. There's always people walking around because of the pit or whatever you call it before everything was built there. Right. But yeah, it did get quiet down there. You know what I mean? So like they said years ago in the 90s, they'd be playing wiffle ball in the middle of the street because there's nobody around.
Yeah.
Because once happy hour was over on a Friday night, everybody got in the train and went home.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said it was like a ghost town. Like even during the week, like after people went home from work, it would be dead.
Yeah.
Like,
I bet you that was most of the city, even even Midtown. I'm sure it was like that.
Yeah. But no, like and there was like everybody came there. Like everybody came there. Like people would always come there. It is like right, obviously the Ground Zero is right there. So you met a lot of famous people, like Prince Harry. I met Prince Harry. He was an absolute gentleman. He actually was a really, really good kid.
Really?
He right there. He's sitting. He goes, Joe, tell me more about your medal. That's what he was saying. So
there I was.
He goes, was the fire was on the 3rd or 4th floor? He was asking me right there. I'm like, it was on the 3rd floor.
Did he call you a hero as soon as you walked in?
He actually had a copy of the book. I signed it for him. No, what you call it? He was a gentleman, but he had I don't know if you call him a handler or an executive assistant, whatever you want to call him.
XO.
He was a jerk. XO. He was a jerk.
Really?
He was a very arrogant British guy. Like, let's get out of here. And he's like, no, I'm going to go on the side of the firehouse and look at the wall. So he was a really really nice kid. But he pulled up on like 15 Range Rovers. You know what I mean? It was like the shuffle game. Which I don't even know if he got back in the same one. There's 900 people with him. Obviously, entourage with him. You know what I mean? So it was
like Coming to America when the fall.
yeah, absolutely. Good. What a nice young man. I have to say, he really was. You know. So, and I have another story I'm going to tell down on 10 truck. So, listen, it's not a lot of fire. I did catch a very good high-rise fire there, a very good tenement fire there. Unfortunately, wasn't a lot of fire duty there, So the high-rise fire, get to say it was first due to a fourth alarm, 1076. So I have that under my belt. It was a fire. Basically, it was a third floor. Like there was the columns, and about 4 stories up or 3 stories up. Underside it was just fully involved. We pulled up fire under it. There's nothing we could do because you don't have 36-foot hooks to pull anything down. So they were going to set the towel out. So we just walked up. There's some smoke in the building. There's a decent smoke condition in the building. But it was a good experience to get these guys some fires. I tried to get us relocated to Brooklyn, just trying to get us into some bad neighborhoods and stuff like that. Like seriously, to try and get them to go to some fires,
Yeah.
But,
I guess you want to do it.
So one of the night tours, I come in, you look at the day book, and like, visit from the military. It was something. I'm like, what is this? Like, it's a Saturday night. I'll never forget it. 65 Broadway. Somebody just texted me. That's right. Rob Favado was there. And so military visit. So I'm like, all right, what is this? So 10 and 10 was only a few fires with the back door. So these people show up at the back door about 10 o'clock. There's nobody with me. I'm by myself. I walk them up and I open up the door. There's some people in like these, like military uniforms, like the tan stuff. And then there's people behind as they walk in. These people, there's like 8 people with burlap sacks over their heads. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what is this? And they specifically said in the book, go to the roof of the firehouse. So I'm like, all right, take them up to the roof of the firehouse. And I get them up to the roof. They get them in front, like the front wall of the firehouse, because I'd overlooked then it might have been like the foundation is being built for the Freedom Tower. But all of a sudden, he starts yelling at them. He goes, "This is why we did this to you for this last week. For this, we want this to be the first thing for you to see when you take off your sack."
Shit.
I'm like, what the? He's like, this is why. And these people, like, when they took the sacks off their head, they were not like, 3:00 quitting time. Let's go have a beer. They were disheveled. I mean, I don't think they were physically beat up. Maybe they were. I don't know. But they were like, you could tell they didn't eat for a week. Like, it was like bad. And then it was insane. I don't know, because it was 7 men and a woman. So I don't know. I'm figuring maybe CIA. I have no idea what it was, man. No idea what it was.
SEALs, maybe? I don't even
No,
know.
it wasn't SEALs because
No?
I hate to be. There was a woman with them, so I don't know what it was. I think it was
Yeah.
CIA. I never found out. All I did, they were like, "Hey, Cap, you have to have a shot of JD with us." So I had a shot of Jack Daniels. And it wasn't a shot either. Like they're the red Solar cups. It was like halfway filled. I'm like this. But these people, I'm telling you, Lou, they were definitely held hostage, man. It was crazy.
That might be the craziest story I ever heard on the show.
I am not lying to you, man. It was crazy, and I'm glad I was the only one that witnessed it. Like everybody else, I don't know where they were. Oh my God, it was just one of those things. Yeah, this is what you need to see for the first time.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God. I thought they wanted me to take my shirt off. I didn't know.
I think I love it.
You need to see him without your shirt on.
I think I love it.
Like,
it was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. And then, like I said, there was no like, oh, let's break for lunch, or like that. They were definitely, whatever they did to them, they were definitely like, they were beat up, man. So it was definitely legit. So it was crazy.
That's a crazy.
But there was so many good young guys down there, man. There really was. Like everywhere I worked. You know what I mean? Even like the Bronx, we had this Joe Verino, John McGuire was probably the shortest trucker in the Bronx. Keith Lagan, Phil. I'm trying to mention people. Mike Degnan, Ronnie, Jeff Rivera, Hector. Just really good people, man. I'm sorry I forgot that. But 10 trucks, the same thing. We had Jimmy Kazajansky, probably the strongest guy in the fire department after I retired. We arm wrestled my last tour. I swear to God, we arm wrestled my last tour. I had one time in mind. If I held him for a second, I was like, I won. And he was a big dude. He obviously let me win the first time. I don't think it was like a millisecond. He was just like that, boom. And I was stronger back then. I'm not saying I was definitely not stronger than him, but we had good. There was good guys down there: Frank Cincinnati, Steve Maxwell, Aaron Burns, Rob Favada, Johnny Moore, Jeff Grady, Sal in the engine, Vinny Geloso, Anthony Henry, just good people, man. And then we had Frank Noto. So I got to tell you this story. Frank was the best. Was a good dude, but here's my story about Frank. So we had pizza for lunch. So you eat pizza for lunch. You come down. You think it's Christmas morning. Open up a present. Oh, there's a pepperoni. Yes. And I had to tell this story. I told him to tell it. I opened up one box, and it's like when you open up your Christmas present, it's like a pair of shoes, like a pair of socks. It was a mushroom pizza. I'm like, what the frick is a mushroom pizza? I'm like, who in the fire department? Like, all right, whatever. Maybe his mom's coming for lunch. I don't know. And then open the next box, another mushroom pizza. I'm like, what the So that was always, I told him I was going to mention that story, man. It's just
pizza.
I know.
Maybe the guy liked mushrooms. Maybe he had a mushroom farm.
Yeah, and we had good bosses, man. Like John Donahue, he's up in the 4-4 now, 2675 guy. He was a captain engine. Myself, I had Matt Mills, he was a 283 guy. Brian Collins, Kevin Meyer that was a truck. Joe Laselli, Frank Stonis. Joe was from 54. Frank was from 266. Just good dudes, man. Frank was great. I loved working with Frank because he was an insane like swimmer and whatever. You make the sausage and broccoli for lunch. I got all sausage. You wouldn't eat the sausage. I loved it. I loved working with Frank.
I love it.
It was a good place, man. We had a lot of fun, man. We really did. It was a really good bunch of young guys there, man. And listen, I learned a lot there from them, and and my time there, I valued my time there, and it was good. It was really good. So
Kevin Brown wants to know, was the chief there for the Deutsche Bank fire?
I was not there for the Deutsche Bank. I came right after the Deutsche Bank fire. So the Deutsche Bank fire was August, and I got there in January. So I missed about a couple months. But we had we dealt with the Deutsche Bank the whole time, taking the building down, the cranes, all the construction work. So so it was unfortunate. And then you hear some of the stories from the guys that were working. There was a guy there, Kenny Wayne. If you've heard of Kenny, you from 16 truck.
We've been trying to get him on.
What a gentleman! Did you work with him? Was he in 16 there?
I did work with him.
Kenny was a gentleman, man. He's a gentleman.
40-something years, man.
Yeah. And he cut a hole in a wall that pulled a bunch of guys out. He'll never tell you that. He's so humbled.
That's why I don't think come on the show.
I don't think we could get him on to come on the show.
He is a great guy. This is another amazing thing. Never had an ounce of meat or any alcohol during his time in the fire department.
No.
Yep.
He was a skinny, wiry, muscular.
He was, man. Kenny's the best, man. He really was. He was just a great thing down there. Yep. And always drove the young guys, 3 o'clock in the morning, be on a class 3, and he'd be talking. And what do you say? He would
always drill all the time.
Always. And he worked legitimately. He was in 26-2, and then he was in Rescue 2 for a short time. Then he left Rescue 2 and went to 16. So he was great. Great guy.
Yep.
So, but then I got promoted to chief. I ended up taking the spot, Chief Daly, and I was happy I did. Very happy I worked there and met some great people. And then I got promoted to Battalion Chief in November 2010. That was kind of the rank I was looking at. I studied very hard for that test. Went up to the 7th Division, and then loved it up there. And then Chief Reynes, who was a 25 truck alumni, but I did not work with him, but knew him from from parties and stuff like that in 25. He got me to the safety class in 2012. So I took the 2012. It took back then it was a 2-week class. Each class was 2 weeks. One was accident investigation, and one was fatal fire investigation. Because we did all in Safety Battalion, just a little history of the Safety Battalion. You do all the major accidents in the FDNY, all the injuries, and obviously all the line of duty deaths. That's some of your functions. Obviously, the safety aspect of a fire is your main function when you go to a fire. So we took classes on that, and we basically took classes from highway cops, with those, total stations. You see the guys with the sticks taking pictures, learn how to do all that and things like that. So I took that class, and right after that class, I was working up in the 15th Battalion, and my aide up there was this guy, Steve Colton, who was also ended up being one of the techs in Safety Battalion when I was down there. He calls me up. He's like, I just heard there's a guy from 238, 238 He might be down. So we got dispatched to Brooklyn, and we spent from like 2 o'clock in the afternoon to like 1 in the morning, taking measurements, collecting evidence and stuff like that. So yeah, it was very, very interesting. And then like right before Sandy, we had to fight a firefighter investigation class. And then that ended, and I was supposed to be off that Sunday and Monday on comp time. And then they called me up, like, oh, you can't take off. It's because Sandy was obviously Sandy was happening, and they were canceling all any sort of leaves except for vacation or whatever. So I ended up working in the 5/8 battalion for Sandy. And I always tell everybody this story. We had 50 runs, and we had 49 runs in 16 hours because 8 hours we were at the Rockaways for the fire over there.
Wow.
Walking through knee deep water, and it was just nonstop getting a run for like, oh, we have a person, people bailing out the window of a house, people drowning. And the aide, and I had no idea it was. I didn't really know Brooklyn, and the aide's like, yeah, chief, that's 7 blocks down that way, and then another so it was just one of those. It was one of those crazy nights. But then I started like when Nappy passed away. They put me UFO in the safety battalion, which is kind of unheard of. A chief for like 2 years going to safety battalion UFO, and I just loved it, man. It really did. It was just a total different view of the job. What we did citywide, going to all the fires, all the major events. Working with great people driving them, all the people there were experienced. Like when I got there, Bobby Albanese. I don't know if you know Bobby.
No, I know him. He's a great guy, man.
Great
Albanese.
guy.
He's
man.
in a 3-9. He was in the 3-9.
Yep. You had Kevin Blaine, who was from the 3rd Battalion. Kevin was the salt of the earth, man. I loved Kevin. Jimmy Martinician. I'm sorry, Danny Martinician, not Jimmy Martinician. Danny Martinician. Just all like really seasoned chiefs. You know what I mean? And it was just one of those things where it was like, you learn Danny Amelia was the XO. You know what I mean? You just learn from those guys. They taught you so much stuff. You know what I mean? And and I just loved it there. So and I ended up getting the spot there. I was like the Rudy because when Gene Velia left, and they're like, oh, Joe's got to come here, and I ended up getting the UFO spot, and it was just one of those things that I never looked back. You don't go to the Chiefs Command Course and say, I want to work in the. You might be saying I want to work in the 1-8, I want to work in the 4-4, whatever. I'll be saying I want to work in safety, and it was just one of the best things. One of the decisions I made. And I just met so many good people, and just what we do. You know what I mean? With the age we had, like Augie Tefano, 44 truck guy. Steve was up from 39 truck. Tommy Ingram, just some like Billy Knutz in 112. Like just like they were good firemen. Richie Hoffman, I've Richie from 124. He was a guy. He drove me. You know what I mean? So it's just you learn from them. But you're always picking their brains too, like going to fires and stuff like that. So it wasn't like you had like the guy with 3 years at job. It's night to drive the chief. You know what I mean? It was always somebody seasoned there. And it just learned a lot. And I think it's an important job that people don't know enough about what the safety battalion does. Obviously, you're going to fires. You're running into you're going up to multiple alarms. My thing when I went to the fires was listen to the DARS radio. The DARS radio was basically the handy-talkie radio. You heard it the deputies had it, and you heard it in the safety battalion. And I said, Judge Evans, how are these guys talking on the radio? Are they screaming? Are the voices elevated? You know what I mean? What type of
Yeah.
Yep. If things ramping up here, is this gonna be all right? That was a big telltale sign for me. Listen to those radios. Pulling up to the scene, and like sometimes the chief would like, oh, I need you to do this. No, chief, I'm safety, and this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, here are my concerns. Like, I don't know, apparatus placement, maybe ladders, whatever. Where's the fast truck? That was a big thing one day with Chief Leonard. Fast truck was a hot day. He wanted the rack unit to be closer to which he was not wrong. He was 100% right. You know what I mean? And that came about from a fire up in the Bronx. And I was working at 12 Adams for that fire. That was the executive officer car. And I get to this fire, and there's this guy. Like I pull up, and it's hot, like it is effing hot out. You know what I mean? No, I was in the safety battalion. Jimmy Canty, the chief of safety, was in 12 Adams. So I pull up, and this guy's like walking towards me. I'm walking between one of the rigs and the parked car, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? You don't see me coming here? And he's like, you could tell he's totally out of it. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't say anything. It's like, whatever. And I go and do what I have to do, what they wanted me to do into the fire. But this guy's like walking around the Stokes pass to the fast truck, just walking around the Stokes. I remember saying to the chief, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm like, Mike, you better like watch this guy, man. There's something going on with this guy. So fast forward now, they ended up taking him to the hospital. He ended up like smacking his head in the ambulance. He was pretty messed up. So when I got to the hospital now from the Safety Battalion, he was basically like, and I'm trying not to make a joke out of it, but it's the truth. Like with fish, they're throwing buckets of ice on the guy. He's naked on the thing, and they're throwing buckets of ice on him. Like he had, and speak the kid ended up being a really good kid. He had like a severe
type of thing?
heat stroke. Yeah, he remembers nothing. He got detailed to 39.
Wow.
I think it was from 147. Was 147 or 175 or broken. I don't remember now. But just a good kid because, Chief, I don't remember anything. I remember being on the roof and that's all. And I remember waking up in the hospital. That's kind of where it came from because that up there where the fire was in the Bronx, the streets are so tight. The rack unit was like 2 blocks away. So that's where that kind of came from. And then that was the night that then we're working about ready to leave. And that was the night when the guy from 138 hit the pillar and almost cut his arm off. So that was one of those Safety Battalion tours where you're 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, you're going all day, investigating this guy's accident and stuff like that. So, but you stopped at the bodega quick, grabbed a bag of pretzels before,
Thank God.
So those are some of the tours you had, man, in the Safety Battalion. Like you could have days like you're going all night long, man, and multiples or injuries.
Turn you out on what? On a multiple, or what would you?
On a second. We went on all seconds, 1077, 1076s. Third alarm for brush fires, though. We didn't go right away for a brush fire.
Right.
1060 back then,
Right.
Chief, are you always recommending stuff at every job, or sometimes you get to the job
not always, not always. Like not always. But I'd always try and bring something up, but not always recommending something. And sometimes I'd be like, "What's your concern?" And the deputy, I don't have it. So listen, I kind of want to go up on the roof, check out what's going on there. I want to go up there, whatever. But I try to let him know I want to go. But if he had something for me, hey Joe, I need you up on. As you started working there more, they knew you more. I need you up here. You know what I mean? Like whatever. So But yeah, I might recommend I don't know, like I said, whatever. Who's your fast truck? Maybe we should relieve the fast truck. It's July. It's July 15th. It's 100 degrees out. You know what I mean? Things like that. But that was more my job as the executive officer. When I was the executive officer, I did more of that stuff. Hey, we should try and think about relieving that fast truck, or I would check up on the injuries and things like that.
Were they always receptive all the time?
They're always. I never had anybody ever push back ever.
Never.
No, never. They were always good because they always kind of liked it because it took it off their plate when you got there. You know what I mean? Like there was one less thing they had to worry about, so they kind of enjoyed it. Like I said, you got to know everybody. Then you started working guys who came on with their deputies and stuff like that. So it ended up being good.
And you're watching out. I mean, you're watching like when you take the classes. It like you're looking for stuff that somebody's going to get hurt here. That's all you're.
Yeah, right, exactly, absolutely. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe there's a lot of like power lines or whatever. It's just so many things. And I have to say I didn't terminate too many operations, or not operations, but you know what I mean. Things go on the fire ground. I don't think I did very many, if any. But you'd always be like, just suggest stuff and they appreciate that. Oh, I never thought of that. So. But then you had we did all the major accidents. So I had that. I wasn't working, but I was. Car 12 Adam for that 120 accident when they took all those parked cars out. Yeah. And that was that was crazy, man. I'm telling you, like you talk to the guys from that firehouse, so they're like, Chief, like this street's mobbed. Last weekend it was 70 degrees out. This sidewalk's mobbed. He goes, we could have, and for that reason, that was the first cold night of the fall. And Johnny took out like 14 cars. The first car he hit was basically like this wide.
Was that
the guy? John. The guy ended up being. What's that?
Did they have the buff?
That was a different accident.
That's when the rig flipped.
Yeah. And the joke about that accident, you might like this one, Lou, is 120's on the side, and the older chiefs joke about in the safety class. The more miracle on this was that nobody from 120 got hurt. Was that 103 stopped and helped them and didn't continue into the job.
Come on.
They said that was a bigger miracle that they did that 103 stopped.
He ain't lying.
He ain't lying. So, but all this stuff. We're gonna talk about some investigations too. Like you learn stuff from all this stuff. So, and that thing there, the chauffeur had a medical emergency, and then the captain did a great job trying to reach over, trying to pull the brake. He couldn't do it. They took out all these cars. Thankfully, nobody was seriously injured. But we didn't realize, we figured it out. Like if you're ever in those rigs, they have the toggle switch there with the cover on it. So that when you hit that switch, it applies some of the brakes, so it'd probably stop the truck. It might not stop them hitting any cars, but it might stop them from taking out, 14 cars. So and then the guy Johnny,
now they have that on the officer's side. That's the one.
yeah, it's on, that is still on the officer side, but
Yeah.
everybody's under this impression that if you hit that button, that you have to call the shops, and you don't. So, which I wish I knew that, because like when you're the officer and you got the meal, hey guys, what's for dinner? I'm encrusted salmon. Click. There goes the button. Nope. We're going back and getting some sort of beef or chicken.
The captain in the squad used to hit that all the time on moves and everything.
Like, no, we're not. Maybe you have that for lunch tomorrow, but not tonight for dinner. But these are things you learned, and these are things you would go around and teach that to the firehouse, to the new captains and lieutenants. You know what I mean? So, and then Johnny ended up working with me at Handy Talk Recording. Johnny Asherticki was the chauffeur. What a great kid, man! Just a really good kid. And thank God he's back to work. He's just a really a salty earth guy. But it took him a long time. But he was a chauffeur 120. We took him in, so he was good. He was very
Joe,
good.
Chief Daly ask Joe about 20 of the dog at Ladder.
Oh my God. Oh, my buddy, 20. Oh my Lord. And I kind of thought maybe because I had a sandwich in my pocket once, but so we're going on thanks Chief for bringing that. I forgot about this story. So we're going on a class 3, and the 20 truck had a Dalmatian, and there's a guy Mike that, God rest his soul too, he passed. This dog is obsessed with this guy, Mike. So, you could, you know what I mean? So Mike would tell you, listen, don't run pretty fast past the dog. I'm like, all right. So we get a class 3. I'm walking on the side of the rig. I hear the dog bark. I'm like, what the frick? And all of a sudden, the dog locks on my fucking leg, bites my leg. Now I'm bleeding down. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So I put my bunker guard. I go, Mike, that mother effing dog just bit me. If I see that dog when I get back, I'm gonna shoot it. So, and it was. I'm like, he probably smelled like some sort of odor of food off my body. I get
it.
You
had a hamburger in your pocket.
Exactly. I'm still somewhere in my shorts with some food that I didn't wash off, so I get it. I was like, what the? So the thing of it was, I was like, Mike, I got to do a CD73 at least. I got to at least take a mark for this. Oh, come on. I'm like, I said, what's going to happen if my leg blows up and I get an infection? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and it worked out fine, but it was funny. But back to safety, though, it was like one of those things.
It's funny.
Like anything with the evacs, but you really get humbled when you do these line of duty investigations. Like as somebody who does them, it's not an easy thing to do. And once we had a fire. Oh, you guys get off on this. We didn't get off on it. Like nobody gets off on somebody passing away, man. Like not at all. But to me, as you go through this, preventing the next time, and it's also doing these investigations is to honor the person that passed away. You know what I mean? And and I think it's very important for our department to know that. And we're not the internal affairs of the FDNY, you know what I mean? And we're not we're all staying in the union, and when you conduct interviews and you have grown men crying in front of you, I mean, it humbles you big time, man. Humbles you big time, and my interviews were always like, hey, listen, who do you want in the room with you? You know what I mean? We didn't interview people in July, put the heat on, and then December open up the window. Who do you want in the room? I don't care who's in the room with you. I don't care. So one guy one time wanted the captain, the senior lieutenant, the senior man, and you have to have somebody from the union in there. Absolutely. I don't care who's in the room with you, man. Whoever makes you feel better and more comfortable, I mean, that's what I want. That's what I want in the rooms. You want to hear what you have to say, man. So I'd say, we would say, so it'd be me and another chief in there. All right, tell me what happened, and they would tell you stuff. So either I would write or I would talk. You know what I mean? So either one, and always made it feel good. The first couple of questions might be, hey, how long you been on the job? Oh, you're on the lieutenant's list. I try maybe if the mood was right, maybe try and say something kind of funny to kind of make them know that I am I'm here. I'm not here to be a jerk, But anyway, and then we say back, listen, we said this is really important. I'm reading back what you said to me, but make sure if I said something wrong, you say, hey, listen, that's not what happened, because it could change everything. That was how we did them all. You know what I mean? It was humbling, man. Like I tell everybody, it's not for everybody. Sitting there and hearing people crying and whatever, and I had the chief crying and
So you would do those books? You would do the books that would come out?
The investigation. Yeah, I did the Mike Fahey investigation. I was the lead investigator.
Dude, I thought that those things were the most important thing
Absolutely, man.
I mean, I used to read each one of those, even after let's say it was come out a year after, we would read it. I would drill on it with the guys.
Yeah.
We would listen to the CD, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they came with CDs later on. I guess I don't know what they still do that. And then
I think so. Well, I don't know if they do CDs anymore.
And then years later, I would pull them out, and if we got new guys to the squad, we would listen to that. We listened to the Black Sunday. I would listen to all those over and over again. The handy talkie transmissions. What guys?
There's a lot of good information on them. And so I did the. I'll take you through the whole Fahey fire. So we're actually doing. I was like in the same, guys, we should do a building construction class. It's so vital to safety, So we had all these guys come in, Steve Spall, Kevin Harrison coming in to do a building construction class. We were there at 7:15, 7:30 in the morning. We get a call from Jimmy Canty was in car 12 Adam then. He's like, I got a call from operations. There's an explosion up in the Bronx. So oh shit, the fireman might be trapped. So shit. So me, Jimmy and Doug Gert get into his car and start heading over there. And then I think we had Tommy Ingram, who was a tech with us. So all of a sudden we're heading over there, and you hear, Battalion 19 to the Bronx. Everybody's accounted for. We're like, thank God, everybody's accounted for. You know what I mean? And then So, but we're like, let's keep going in because it could be serious injury. So we keep heading up there. Then all of a sudden, operations calls. I pick up the phone, like, hey, Chief, this is someone from operations. Yeah, we got one red tags, pretty severely hurt battalion chief. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? That's why everybody's accounted for, meant everybody's okay. You know what I mean? But it's one of the things you kind of, and the aide and the 19 did an amazing job. So we head to the hospital, and unfortunately, it was Mike, and
that drove me.
It wasn't good in the hospital. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna get into details about Mike, but it was not good. So then we had to go to the scene after that because it was obviously fatal, and then the house was just destroyed. You know what I mean? It was destroyed. Debris everywhere. The cops are there. Because it was a drug lab, we called it a drug lab. It was more of a marijuana grow house. We learned that. But as these four chiefs now, you got to figure things out. So if you watch the video of the explosion, there's people. It looks like they're right there, but across on the corner there was a camera that the DEA had that was monitoring the house that made objects look bigger than they really are. So when they were shining on the front door, and by the way, I bought one for my wife. She loves it. You know what I mean? So,
of course she does.
It works great. It was a great wedding as an anniversary present. So, I had to get that one in there. But anyway, no, in all seriousness. So we had to go back and figure it out. Oh shit, this camera, So we had to really educate ourselves on, what was a grow house? There was pot plants everywhere. When the building blew up, what were the components of a drug house? And we had the video of the whole incident from when 95 pulls up to when the building explodes. You know what I mean? And listen, everybody did what they're supposed to do. 95, 36, they did what they were supposed to do. And the kind of the curveball was there was an accident on the Deegan. So the first two companies, 52 and 52, and then 81 and 46 were on the Deegan. So actually 95 and 36 were going in. 95 would be third due there. 36 would be the fast truck there. So they weren't even the first two companies. And 79 and 37 came in second due. So they would be the additional engine truck on all hands. So companies are coming from a far distance. And because it was a gas leak, 79 and 37 were coming modified. You know what I mean? So, and it was a legit gas leak. The gas leak itself had nothing to do with the grow house. The gas leak was a deteriorated high pressure gas line under the stoop. But the properties of the explosion, everything had to do with the drug house. So in these marijuana grow houses, they put what's called Mylar on the windows. And Mylar is you ever see the women in the 30s would have the stuff under their head sunbathing? Well, they put the reflective side on it. These high-powered lights in these rooms, which enhance the growth of the marijuana. You know what I mean? All these different, different components. They obviously bypass the electric and bypass the water, because with the electric, it would be a telltale sign because the meter would be spinning. Like my scale in the morning, where's it going to stop? Where's it going to stop? But
nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Please, no four, no four. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, that was kind of things we learned about them bypassing the electric, bypassing the water, because Con Ed couldn't detect anything. So that's what they did. Obviously, we think what happened. The NTSB was there. They investigated. We think what happened was, how in the gas, it's either too rich, not rich enough.
Yep.
It hit the perfect level, and we think something turned on or off in that room, and it just blew up. So we were letting you watch the video. The Con Ed workers walk into some of those houses in the Bronx.
Yeah, it drives me crazy.
But no, they walked in the basement. One guy walks in the basement, putting a vest on, and it blows up 2 seconds later, and nothing happens to them.
And he's
nothing happens to
in
them.
the street, like on the other side. We walked. I think we went as the squad. I don't think we were there like right away, but we went. Like, I don't know if we had to go search or something like that. But
yeah, no, it was because all the buildings down the line. But what happened was there was a flat roof PD with a decorative peaks on it.
Chief Daly just sent me the picture. I just sent it to Mike.
Of 20
of that explosion.
Oh
yeah.
So the piece of the peak exploded. When it exploded, we measured it was like 16 feet by whatever. It was like over 2 tons, and it hit Mike. You know what I mean? So it's just it was bad. But you spend 9 months. You spend 9 months on this investigation. You watch the video. There wasn't a lot of handy talking with that because a lot of back and forth communication, face to face. You know what I mean? And you try and figure. We realized we weren't resetting our meters properly. We educate ourselves on marijuana grow houses now.
But wasn't it? Again, I don't remember it so long ago. But wasn't it something like the guys were going in and out? If I remember right, they're going in and out of the door, so it was too rich, right?
Yes.
At that point, right? So they're going in and out of the door. Right, but, you start opening up windows or whatever. Now it becomes that spot where it's good, and then that's.
But they didn't really open it. They didn't open any windows. They kind of there it is. You see all the plants up in there. You know what I mean? But I think what happened was they stopped going up to the second floor once they realized it was all those plants and stuff were up there. You know what I mean? And then in the bathtub they had a big stuff called Tiger Bloom. It was like this fertilizer, all the hoses going into the rooms and things like that. It was just, and then in the basement, there was all the baby pot plants, So it was like,
I remember saying, like, that's one of those things, like, you could do everything right, and it's just got to be your time, right?
Absolutely.
It can't be.
Mike was standing on the 1-2 corner in like a collapse zone until the guys from Con Ed showed up. Right. He did everything. 36 truck. They did everything right. They did. Nothing. You can't say, well, hey, if Phil, if Billy didn't do this or John didn't do this. It was. And listen, when you do these investigations, you can say that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sometimes that does happen. But
you can do everything right, and shit can still go sideways.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that was a tough thing. You know what I mean? Then the hardest thing you have to do is you have to present it to the family. Mm-hmm. So my father decided to die the day before that, so I didn't present it to the family. So I know I was actually teaching with Joe Jordan, and my mom calling me, and then all of a sudden, I still remember, Dad's on the floor. So anyway, that's not what we're gonna talk about. But so that's a hard thing too. Because I was actually with Mike when we presented to Mrs. Davidson. And it's just not an easy thing, man. And it's one of those things like, when something like this happens, the biggest thing for us was to try and shut off the electronic EBF4 so you don't have everybody screenshot in the first 2 companies. And I'm going down to Mike Davidson, down to Harlem for Mike Davidson. I'm getting texts from people. I heard it's a nozzle man for 69. And I kind of knew it was a nozzle man for 69, but I'm like, that was from safety people. I'm like, how do these people know already? You know what I mean? And that's just the nature of the game, man.
Well, everybody's listening to the radio, right? They're all
absolutely
whatever it is, and then they just start texting stuff out. So they send it to Facebook.
What's that app? Citizens app or whatever the fuck.
Yes.
Well,
Citizen app. Well, we used to have in our department, like the chiefs would get on the cell phone, and it would go off like the MDT, and it would have everybody on the list. At first, all hands like, like 103 and have everybody working on 103. All I had to do is click on it. And it's a joke with who's the chief that did it? Agello. I'm like, Mike, if you made that app for buffs, you would have an 80-foot yacht in less than a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was good. But listen, safety. Like you said, just the people. Like, just you learn so much. Kevin Blaine was like my. He was like the guy Tommy Healy was talking about. He was just like my buddy, man. Like he was just a great dude. We joke with each other. My buddy Tommy, same thing. And then like unfortunately, like Kevin passed away. 2 years ago now. Worked till he was 65. Just like always happy, man. Always happy. And. We were doing the Fahey investigation. He would come down every day and never complain once coming down, until it was golf season. Then he started, then he started using his comp time.
I'll bet you he didn't have a $2,000 golf set.
He might have.
Listen, I got a question for you from a good friend of mine.
Okay.
He said you got to ask him how a fella his size got into the Prius department vehicle he had when he was the XO.
Luckily, I never had a Prius. I had so luckily, but.
So how long were you in safety before you became?
I was in safety, so I was there for 14. So then, like, I kind of felt I wanted to go work for Chief Cressy, and then my other two chiefs we had was Chief Jordan and Chief Myers. Obviously, Chief Reynes when I first got there were my safety chiefs. But I wanted to learn that job with the XO, did it for safety. So I did that for like 10 months to kind of understand. Go to meetings at headquarters. Now you understand safety. You're going to like workplace violence meetings. You're going to whatever. Like I wanted to learn that other part of it.
Right.
And I was hoping that maybe they were like kind of groom me to be the next chief of safety down the road someday. But it probably would have been maybe if I didn't come here.
Either that or chief of department in Greenwich. One of the.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But then listen, safety's become a younger thing now. Like I got my guys, Jimmy Canty now, who is the chief of safety. Dennis Myers, all these. Don Murphy. You haven't have Don Murphy. He was in the 4-3. Gary Esposito, Marty Ford, Richie Tarkenton.
I came on.
John Vaughn.
I came on with Jimmy Canty.
Did you really? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He's another one. Daddy got him the 3 truck.
Wow. I don't know anything about that, but yeah.
Jimmy's the best, man. I love Jimmy.
Yeah.
Pete McGrath. He was a 5'4" guy too. But he did a lot of stuff at Sid. Now you got like Mark Gregory's there now from So we've always had like good people like just Tommy Smith, John Sullivan. So Dave Drake, Tommy Mack. Tommy Mack, you might know, he's a 290 guy. Tommy McElhaney.
McElhaney, of course.
Yeah. Mike
he just
Johnson.
retired. I think he just retired.
Yeah, he's just on the order. I think he's got a couple more months, but yeah. Mike Johnson was in Triple Deuce, so we always had good people there, man. So, but then, the opportunity came to come here to Greenwich, and I took advantage of it. I've been here for there's me and my buddy Keith. So we basically grew up together, and now we're finishing our careers together. So he's been in Greenwich for over 30 years. So he's a shift commander, and that was one of our fires. That was one of the fires when I first got there. We had a car drive through a building. So
when you were still on the job, they approached you, or how did that work?
Well, no, I believe it or not, their assistant chief told me, this guy told me that their chief's going to retire. So I was like, all right, I'll think about it. I thought about it, talked to my wife, and we decided to go for it. I'm 2.5 miles from my house, so I don't listen to AM radio anymore. Going to work. I'm not getting like when I first got there. This guy Brian was my first assistant chief. He's like, you get here. I'm like, Brian, I don't have to sit in traffic.
Right.
So my day starts at 8. So, but it's been good. It's been an adjustment. Going from the FDNY to a small department's been an adjustment for me. A lot for me. So at the beginning, I kind of thought it was the FDNY, and it wasn't. And how you handle things. Now I know it's not the FDNY. We don't have 6 people on a truck or something like that. But how you kind of handle things. So we have a lot of good young people here, and we hoping to continue to grow and tell people that we need to make this job bigger and things like that. And we have volunteers who still provide us a service as well. We've got some good chiefs. My 2 assistant chiefs now are Tommy Leonard and this guy Charlie Lubowicki. Justin McCarthy, as Mike would know from
New Haven.
Just good. My buddy Tom Zach, I told you he was moving down to Florida. Just good people, man.
So you are chief of both the volleys and the paintball?
Yes, yeah, I'm the whole chief of the whole. And then the volunteer chiefs have their own chiefs, and we have 4 staff chiefs, or not staff chiefs. We have 4 shift commanders. We have my buddy Keith, Eric Majars, Matt Brooks, and
How
Sean
many guys
Mills.
is that total then with volleys?
With the volunteers, we're probably about right now probably around 50 or so. Career guys, we have about 106. We have 23 on a shift. Each shift we have 23 people manning 6 stations. So we have 1 fully volunteer station, 1 fully paid station, and we have 5 combination stations.
So you're on call all the time?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I mean, the other day we had a fire, and I was like at my son's baseball game up in Newport, so I wasn't going to come down, But yeah, at night, I try to go.
Unless it's lunchtime too.
Are you
exactly?
If it's lunch.
It's 9. Are you 9 to 5, Chief?
Yeah, 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Yeah, and there's no comp time, so it's like it's not like So yeah, but I might stop and grab a slice if there's No, I'm kidding.
Mikey, what was that question before that we had from?
Richard? It was. Hang on, let me find it. Because it was. We said we would get to it. When you were in 41, he wanted to know. This is from Richard Othmeyer.
Here jeez, I am not answering
it. If he took photos of all the building supers in 41 trucks district, you'll get a good laugh.
Oh, Richie Bob, I love him, man. He was one of my chauffeurs, and he'd be like, because we used to take a lot of company pictures on Metal Day. So he'd be like, "We need to get a picture of all of our supers in front of the firehouse." like a couple. He was the second funniest guy I worked with, man. He was so funny, man. Oh, what a good dude, Richie, man. He was funny. I tell Richie right back to him, like, I still have my code 3s, Richie.
We know another guy who went to Connecticut who was an FDNY guy. He's the chief of the department too.
Oh, Rex. Yeah, Rex is a great guy, man. I love Rex. I see him a lot. He's right next door. It's the town right next door. Yeah. Joey, what's going on, Joey? He has live burns every Monday. he is ultimately the best, man. He is a good dude. He really is a great guy, man.
Chief, how many guys you running though? You mentioned 23 across the 6 stations. How many guys in an engine? How many guys in a truck per shift?
So we have a lieutenant and 2 firefighters on everything. So we have 6 engines and a truck.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah. So and then we have a driver and a deputy. We just got the driver recently for the.
Got to get a heavy rescue there.
I know. Well, we do have a heavy rescue. The volunteers over in Old Grunge have a heavy rescue.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So they do our rescue stuff. Yep. Yeah, that's where I was. There was no rescue when I was there. We just strictly put out fires when I was there.
Back in the old days, it was just fires.
It was yes.
So what's the best
Blood
pizza?
Oath, the Sound Beach? What?
What's the best pizza? Sally's or Modern?
Oh, you know what? I'm not a big. I think Modern probably if I had to pick New Haven pizza, right, Mike?
Really?
Yeah, I would say Modern.
I'm partial Modern. I used to live around the corner. Yeah, so Modern's my spot.
Yep. So what I haven't mentioned is my family. I can't believe I haven't mentioned my family.
What the hell?
I know. I have my lovely wife Pam.
Right.
You see her in the picture there.
Yes. Let me see.
A little bit of a height difference between me and my wife.
Here we go.
Oh my god. So Yep. I'm not standing on a stool either, so there's a little bit of a height difference.
You are officially part of the club, the I Married Up Club, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all members. Don't worry.
Yep. And then I have my son and my daughter Molly and my son Johnny. My daughter Molly's getting ready to be a teacher, and my son Johnny's up at Newport's, sophomore. He's playing baseball up there, and couldn't ask for 2 better children. I mentioned my. What's that?
No interest in being a fireman?
No interest in going down hallways.
All right.
So the only hallways they're gonna go down is when whatever. You know the saying. So
is
it's
your son big too? Son big kid?
He's tall. Yeah, he got my wife's metabolism though. Thank God. So yeah. He eats clean. He's like, Dad, we got to start eating clean. So I start taking a shower 3 times a day. But I guess that's not what he meant.
That's great.
But no, I couldn't ask for 2 better children, man. They're awesome. They really are good kids. And I got some nephews who are also they are continuing in the fire service for me. Nephew Tommy Biggs is he's the fire chief up in Derby. My nephew Eddie Biggs is the captain up in Derby. And I have a nephew Adam Biggs who's up in one of the Beacon Falls volunteer fire departments up there. So those are kind of carrying on the family tradition. Yeah, so it's kind of good. It's good. So
is mom still around?
Yeah, mom's still around. Yep, I'm actually
Cool.
I'm gonna do mom's garbage tomorrow. We get have a cup of coffee together, which is nice.
How old is
So,
mom?
mom will be 87 in May, so she's good.
My mother.
Yeah, she's very good. My mother's great. She's awesome.
Good.
You know, my sisters are still, they're still around. They still live. My sister lives in Riverdale. My other sister's with my mom, so it's good. You know.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Very good. All right.
So I'm getting a lot of texts now from people like.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. I said your phone's going to blow up.
But before we do, Mike, I think it's that time.
Oh yeah, Mike. I got to tell you, I'm going to be going on Mike in New Haven Monday night. I got a couple podcasts coming up.
Mike,
So I'm looking forward to that. That's Monday night, 6:00, Mike, right?
6:00 p.m. for another volume of the Best of the Bravest interviews with the FDNY.
Nice. And then I got another podcast, Chippendales. Where are they now? So that one is, I think, in mid-April. I'll send you guys the link.
You're now in shirtless.
Yeah. I don't know what to wear. I might wear one of my old outfits. I'm not sure.
All right,
I don't have the sound effects, but yes.
If I have one for the old school tip of the, I don't think I do, but go ahead. It's time.
Yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about this.
Wait a minute, we got to intro you.
Sorry.
Hold on a minute, fella. Mike, it's time for
the old school tip
of the day.
Oh wow, I'm by myself. So holy moly, the camera really does add something. Camera really does add a couple things here. No, so like I would say, mine's not really an old school tip. Like, don't take the interior stairs to the roof. I talk about know your gear, know what you're wearing. So we put our bunker gear on every day. You know what I mean? And it's something like we do every single day, our Scott packs, stuff like that. But we don't really know what our bunker gear is. You know, it's not just stuff that will protect us. What are the characteristics of our gear? What's the TTP? What's it rated at? So our gear in the FDNY is TTP is how it handles how long it lasts in a flashover situation. You know, is what you call I think it was like 42 in the FDNY, but our hoods were like 37. Because you want the hoods a little less so you can feel the heat on your ears and stuff like that. THL, what does THL mean? Total heat loss. So the higher your TTP is, say it goes up to like in the 50s, then you're wearing gear that doesn't breathe, which would not be good for somebody in the summertime or heat stroke or something like that. So know your gear. Why do we have this on? Know the manufacturer, know the specifications of your gear. Before we left, we did a whole thing in safety on just that, know your gear. And I think it's something for our young firefighters to understand, and some of our officers. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know anything about it either until I got involved with safety. And then you go to these captain's development classes and flips, and even the command course, and nobody knows about it. And I'm not faulting them. It's just we need to educate ourselves on that and know what we're doing here and things like that. So I try to think of something that's kind of geared towards safety.
There you go.
I like it.
All right.
All right, 2 more commercials really quick, Michael.
Yes. And the first one will be our friends from the Collectors Club, and we'll get to the old school health and safety tip momentarily. But first, the Collectors Club. We at the Gettin Salty Experience are excited to announce the launch of the New York City Collectors Club, a brand new spin-off of the FD Collectors Club dedicated exclusively to New York City firehouses. Here's the deal. No more worrying about stopping by a firehouse when the crew's out on a run, and no more rolling the dice on questionable patches and coins off eBay. With this club, everything you receive is 100% authentic, straight from New York City firehouses. And the best part? A portion of every subscription goes directly to firefighter charities each month. Now, because you're a part of the Gettin Salty podcast community, you'll get 50% off your first month. That means you can join for just $14.99. All you have to do is use the code GettinSalty at checkout. So if you're a collector looking for something real, meaningful, and straight from the source while giving back to New York City's best and bravest, the New York City Collectors Club is for you.
Sweet.
Of course, now the old
Tom's a good guy over at Squad 1.
Yeah, shout out to Tommy and Mike, man. They're both good dudes, man. They put out good stuff.
Yep.
Very good coins, man.
Yep.
And a shout out to our friend Frank Lieb, who, of course, is one of the leaders of FRCE for our old school health and safety tip right after this. The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders, too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
All right, I'm going to give you 2 old school health and safety tips. The first one, protect your health thoroughly. Wash exposed skin and equipment to remove soot and contaminants. And the second one is protect your health, use your SCBA throughout the duration of firefighting operations, and this includes overhauling.
Absolutely.
Those are your health and safety tips.
You see a lot of these young firemen doing that, man. That was one of the health and safety tips I was thinking about too. I know Frank put a lot of time in with all that, like the cancer awareness, you know.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming on the show. Had a great time.
That was a pleasure, man. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. It went by really fast.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, holy mackerel. I looked up at that little clock by yeah, it was crazy, man.
When you go on the show on Monday night, tell Mike I said suck it. All right?
I don't know if he's ordering me dinner. Do I get dinner for that?
I hope so. Anywho,
Don't
next week we got FDNY Tommy Lynch from Ladder 19, the Bronx trustee.
Very nice.
The following week we have the former Commissioner Tucker coming on the show.
Oh, what a gentleman. Absolute gentleman.
Absolute
gentleman. Oh, my God.
I met him at the trade show.
I really wish I got to work for him, man. Because he would come here to Greenwich. We had the Silver Shield. So he was just a nice guy. And he would remember who you were, like, you know.
Yeah.
Love
Looked
the
you straight in the eyes when he talked to you. What a great guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll have to tune in for that.
Please do.
I will.
All right, boys. Thanks for Mike.
Thank you guys for everything. It was wonderful.
Joe had a great time. Don't go.
I had a lot of fun.
Thanks for filling in for Gonzo tonight, Mike. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure. Always great to do so.
Tie and all. Excellent job.
Thank you.
Yep.
Make sure you switch up the tie on Monday.
Yeah,
it will be. We'll have a whole new suit Monday. Once again, for another volume of the best of the bravest interviews with the FDNY. This Monday, 6 p.m. live. Don't miss it.
Hey, Mike, you even tips on how to gain weight on Monday.
Yes. Get the guns to go. How many calories do you eat?
There we go.
One last shout out. I'm going to give a shout out for myself. I just finished my book and it just got published. It will be coming soon. I'll have it on the website. More details to follow.
Nice.
Brooke, enjoy those $5,000 golf clubs that you got over there.
Thank you.
Whacking that ball around.
Thank you.
And we will see
Go Mets.
Go Mets, baby. I forgot to mention that. Go Mets, baby. Yep. We will see you next week. Until then, stay low and go.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one. Thank you again, Chief.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you all.
On behalf of Lou, Coobs, and Chief McHugh, I'm Mike Cologne. We'll see you next time. Be advised, Chief, we're getting multiple calls. Sounds like a job. Good night.